listening to the EFL Championship live on Talksport 2 at McDonald's. Order Mug delivery on the app and get rewards points. 18 plus participating restaurants, delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. Two teams are out here at Hillsborough. Good evening from Joe Shen and Adrian Clark alongside me for commentary. Former Arsenal winger Aston Villa against Cardiff live tonight over on Talksport at the start of the FA Cup weekend. Plenty of live commentaries all across Saturday, Sunday and on Monday night on the Talksport network from the FA Cup. And tomorrow in the Championship from 12:30, the leaders Leeds take on West Bromwich Albion, who are chasing a playoff place. Sunderland and Sheffield Wednesday ready to go here. Clarkie, for who is this a more important game? Because I think Sunderland, we know, are guaranteed, aren't they, pretty much a playoff spot. We know they're going to be there. Maybe they're too far away from the top two. So in that sense, is it actually even more vital this for Sheffield Wednesday?
I think it's a bigger game for Sheffield Wednesday. I do, because the playoffs is wide open. That race is incredible, and it's within reach for them. Even though they've never really been in the top six this season, Sheffield Wednesday, they could sneak in, and there's 6 points. It's nothing really with 12 games left to play. So yeah, huge night for them. And I think it would do their confidence the power of good to beat a big boy. They've had real issues against them over the course of this season. For Sunderland, if truth be told, it's just a case of ticking over now, keeping standards up, maintaining momentum so that they go into the playoffs feeling good about themselves.
Well, really, the noise of the crowd tells you everything you need to know about the importance of this game. Yet another vital night in the Championship. There are 12 games to go, and the race for promotion to the Premier League is about to reach fever pitch. Every kick from now until the end of the season will be live on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Sheffield Wednesday to get us underway in the first half, from right to left towards the West Stand at Hillsborough, where there are nearly 4,000 travelling fans. Sheffield Wednesday in the blue and white stripes, Sunderland in the red and white stripes, playing from left to right. What a noise! This in the Championship is what it's all about. We are off and underway. And immediately James Beadle with a long high ball downfield for Sheffield Wednesday. Their goalkeeper Leo Hielder with a thumping header out of play. A reminder of the teams: Sheffield Wednesday, Beadle in goal, Valentin, Hikwe, Max Lowe and Hatsuse at the back, Charles, Bannon and Ingleson, Patterson, Windass and Gassama up front as the ball goes back to Beadle again. And Sunderland, Patterson in goal, Hume, Mepham, O'Nien and Hielder, Bellingham and Neal, Roberts, Brown and Mundle behind Mayenda up front. They're underway in the FA Cup, the 5th round, Aston Villa against Cardiff of the Championship. That's on Talksport, and we'll keep you right up to date. But here on Talksport 2, Sheffield Wednesday 6 points off the playoffs, Sunderland 8 adrift of the top two, and Max Lowe with a high ball forward for Sheffield Wednesday. Up and over the halfway line, it's over the head of Josh Windass, retrieved by Chris Mepham. Back to the goalkeeper Anthony Patterson, who has had a couple of difficult games in succession. The Sunderland number one, an own goal against Hull at the weekend and didn't convince away at Leeds United either. It's a big night for Sunderland's number one. It's a big night for everybody in a red and white shirt. Adrian Clark.
It sure is, and I think you're right to touch on the goalkeeper Patterson, because he's not in good form, and he's got to play this first half in front of the massed ranks of Black Cats fans that have made the trip to Hillsborough. He wants to be nice and secure in this first period to do his confidence good.
Paul Valentin with a cross for Sheffield Wednesday, and it's over the head of Gassama, arriving at the back post, trying to reach the loose ball, and winning it is Rio Hatsuse, making his first ever Sheffield Wednesday start tonight. Hammered away by Mepham for Sunderland, up over the halfway line, and it bounces to the feet of Beadle. Just looking from our lofty perch high at the back of the main south stand, almost in line with the two dugouts and the players' tunnel, which is to the right of halfway. The pitch is not in great condition tonight. It's cutting up in plenty of places. It could well be a bobbly surface. Sheffield Wednesday with possession midway inside their own half. It's 0-0.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I was at Turf Moor last week. The pitch was like a carpet compared to this, certainly. So, but just looking at it tactically, Josh Windass down the middle, I think, with Callum Patterson playing on the right, with Gassama on the left, so not quite how we expected it. Patterson, of course, can play pretty much in every position on the pitch, can't he, the Scot? But
and he has done, near enough.
He has, but it does look to me as if Josh Windass will be the player leading the line for Sheffield Wednesday tonight.
Well, I think on balance, that is indeed what we expected. Patterson with his versatility there to help out Sheffield Wednesday tonight. Both sides are missing key attacking players. Smith for Sheffield Wednesday, Le Fay for Sunderland, both not in the squad tonight, respective squads, as Michael Ihikwe brings the ball down in the centre circle and plays it back to goalkeeper Beadle again. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 0. Quite a chilly night at Hillsborough now. The sun, of course, has long since set. The floodlights are on, but another big crowd on this ground as Beadle pumps the ball high up to the halfway line. Header infield by Hatsuse, cleared away upfield by Mepham for Sunderland. It bounces down towards Mayenda, who scored twice in the reverse fixture. Only half away by Ihikwe. Mayenda's won it back inside the penalty area, tried to shuffle the ball onto his left foot. Blocked off at the near post. Sunderland retrieve it with Patrick Roberts, who has scored important goals on this ground before, and then that looks like a foul on Ingleson midway inside his own half. He was tripped by Dan Neil, and that'll be a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday in their left back position, 0-0.
Yeah, really sharp play there from Ingleson. Just a slightly heavy touch from Dan Neil in midfield, and he pounces on it, gets there first and draws the foul. In terms of Sunderland, it's Mayenda up front. And then you've got Bellingham and Brown as sort of two box-to-box midfielders, with Dan Neil holding at the base of the midfield.
And the crowd are on their feet here at Hillsborough, absolutely rightly so, to pay a very moving tribute, a minute's applause for 4-year-old Sheffield Wednesday fan Jackson Knowles, who so sadly passed away recently. And indeed, the whole game has been stopped, so the players and staff can pay tribute to young Jackson, a very brave little boy.
Yeah, it's an amazing sight. The family must feel so touched. Players on both sides. Look, basically, the referee is clapping, the Sunderland players are clapping. This is, it's a very unusual sight, but a wonderful one. In such obviously tragic circumstances.
Absolutely right, Adrian, and as you say, hopefully his family can take some comfort from that wonderful and very powerful minute's applause. The game is now back underway. Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 0.
It was quite something, wasn't it? Yeah,
don't often see that, do you?
You do not. No, a lot of respect shown there.
25,000-30,000 people uniting for young Jackson. Forward by Max Lowe down the middle for Sheffield Wednesday, and cleared away by Trey Hume, the Sunderland right back. Now the ball is retrieved by Brown, who's played it forward to the halfway line, given away by Dan Neil. And Lowe out to the near side, the left. Gassama brings it down with the orange boots on, scampers in field and plays a good ball towards Patterson, middle of the Sunderland half in a central area, hooks it over his shoulder. Paul Valentin inside right, he might get there. Well, I thought he might get there. Then as it bounced in front of him, he decided to pull up and wait. Knew that he couldn't reach it, and it's trickled out of play for a goal kick to Sunderland at the Leppings Lane end to our left-hand side.
Yeah, that could be a move we see plenty of in the game, because Callum Patterson is not a winger, is he? He's going to want to come in off the side on the right-hand side, join in as a second centre forward, and it will open up space for Paul Valentin to pile forward from right back. And of course, he's got 3 goals this season, Valentin, so he's someone that can hurt the opposition inside the final third.
He's hammered the ball out of play into the single-tiered north stand, that cavernous stand on the far side. He was actually caught by Romain Mundle, who Sunderland will be delighted to have back in the starting 11. Made his return from injury off the bench against Hull last weekend, and though it was a disappointing defeat, back-to-back defeats for Sunderland, which might have really hurt their chances of finishing in the top 2. And finally, some good news on the injury front for them.
Yeah, I think young Tommy Watson's back in training as well, highly rated winger. I mean, they've got so many really, really talented young players, Sunderland. And Mundle was a breath of fresh air, wasn't he, early on in the season? He filled the void left by Jack Clark, and that's a big void. And he was very exciting, scored goals, made chances galore. So, yeah, it's great for Sunderland to have him back in the team.
Hatsuse for Sheffield Wednesday, left back. Japanese former under-20 international. Beadle will steer the ball to the right-back area, and Paul Valentin on the far side of the field. And now the very promising Shea Charles drives towards halfway. Crossfield ball right to left. Hatsuse takes it in his stride, bursts into the Sunderland half. On the overlap is Gassama, 10 yards for the dead ball line. Good tackle coming in from Hume. Out to play for a throw to Sheffield Wednesday, who are playing with great purpose and determination early on. They've made the better start. They do have a terrible record in the Championship against the top 4 this season. They were hammered in the reverse fixture by Sunderland as if to show that. But Sheffield Wednesday certainly have produced a high intensity, high energy opening to this game.
Yeah, look, and they want to put pressure on Patterson, don't they? You know, he's a goalkeeper in shaky form. They need to get the ball into the box.
Long throw by Ingleson into that 6-yard area. Patterson rooted to his line under pressure from Callum Patterson of Sheffield Wednesday. And Sheffield Wednesday cross from the right-hand side, and this time they win a throw about 10 yards from the dead ball line. Good work by Josh Windass, and Ingleson will go across to the right, the far side, to produce another one of these long throws, 0-0.
Some throws, isn't it? He got a lot of distance on that. Good trajectory as well. These are going to be a nightmare for Sunderland to handle tonight.
Very flat, isn't it, the throw of the number 8 Ingleson, Swedish midfielder. Here comes another one to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away. And it's, was that a foul by Mundle in the box? He seemed to trip Charles. Sheffield Wednesday fans applaud. No great appeals from the players around Shea Charles, which probably tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, no penalty there, no foul. But, you know, it caused an issue. They cleared their lines first up, didn't they, Sunderland? But they didn't win the second ball. And it's important for Sheffield Wednesday they do pick up those loose passes, because they can make things happen. You know, against a young, sometimes green Sunderland. They can be naive at times. 09 centre back, for me, that's really not his natural position. It's a much changed back four as well. So I think Sheffield Wednesday, it'll be part of their message ahead of kick-off from Danny Royal would have been, let's ask some questions of this Sunderland rearguard.
There's 2 changes in the back four for both sides. Sheffield Wednesday have got a free kick 12 yards into the Sunderland half, about 12 yards infield from the near side as we look at it. Hatsuse, the new left back, is standing over the ball, sweeps it to the edge of the penalty area, headed away by Job Bellingham for Sunderland, and the ball bounces down just forward of the centre circle, hooked long by Hatsuse again. Patterson is up there challenging with Hielder, and the ball spins off the Sunderland left back and out to play for a Sheffield Wednesday corner. 10 minutes gone on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Sheffield Wednesday chasing the playoffs 0, Sunderland in 4th 0.
Yeah, but it's Sheffield Wednesday who have started the brighter. That was a shaky piece of defending from Hielder at left back. He looked uncomfortable, gave away the corner.
And Sunderland have brought everybody back to defend it. Ingleson will go across to take it, left-footed and in-swinging, into the near post, headed away by Bellingham. It'll drop to the edge of the box towards Barry Bannon, and he's managed to nudge it wide to Ingleson again. Right corner of the penalty area. Bannon 25 yards out, floats into the back post and hammered over the top by J.D. Gassama, stretching for it on the volley. Didn't quite catch it, sails into the away end, but good football from Sheffield Wednesday. Danny Royal will be much the happier of the 2 head coaches.
Yeah, it's been a really bright start from the Owls. That was a lovely pick out, wasn't it, from Barry Bannon. We know all about his quality on the ball. He sees Gassama in space at the far post, and Gassama's a talented boy. He's a confident player, and he takes it on the volley, one touch. Doesn't quite catch it cleanly, that's why it goes over the bar, but it was a confident attempt.
Adrian Clark, former Arsenal winger, with us tonight for commentary on Talksport 2. Goalless in the FA Cup 5th round, Aston Villa against Cardiff over on Talksport. Of course, the best way to stay in touch with all of the football this weekend in the FA Cup and the Championship as well is to download our free app, and you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. Tomorrow lunchtime, Crystal Palace against Millwall on Talksport in the FA Cup. Leeds, the Championship leaders, take on West Brom here on Talksport 2. Foul on Mundle by Paul Valentin on the halfway line.
Oh, brilliant footwork, absolutely. Stellar turn and touch there from Romain Mundle. He's a really entertaining player to watch, and what I've noticed in these early stages is how wide he's staying. He is holding his width. He's making the pitch feel as big as possible for Sheffield Wednesday. They're going to look to switch it to him as often as they can.
Hielder has possession for Sunderland on the halfway line. Quick ball out to Mundle again. midway inside Sheffield Wednesday territory, was hugging the touchline and then darts infield, plays it back to the centre circle and Mepham. Suddenly Sheffield Wednesday have got everybody back defending inside their own half. Sunderland on the attack, very quickly they switch the play, and Alan Brown steers it across and wins Sunderland the corner.
And he gets on the end of that pass from Patrick Roberts because it's an impudent piece of skill. Got two really exciting wide players tonight. Roberts just lets the ball run across him and then back flicks it into the path of Brown, who goes on to win the corner. He's got a lot of imagination, Sunderland, and I think that's why they've captured the hearts of a lot of fans this season.
Roberts with a low corner drilled into the near post, and the little flick by Luke O'Nien, it sort of skimmed off the top of his boot and then just rolled almost apologetically behind in the end. It was a very tame touch. You could see what he was trying to do, a glancing flick at the near post, but he didn't quite catch it right in front of the cop, and it's a goal kick to Sheffield Wednesday, 0-0.
Yes, he's in a position ahead of the near post where it's really hard to get a shot on target. You've got to manufacture a flick of some kind. He did his best, but never really was going to trouble the goalkeeper, James Beadle.
And now Sunderland have won the ball back with Roberts again, back towards Neil, just inside Sheffield Wednesday territory. Best spell of possession in the game so far for Sunderland, with nearly 14 minutes gone. Good turn by Ender on the edge of the D, and the goalkeeper spilled it. It bobbled up on the surface in front of Beadle, in fairness. But James Beadle, the 20-year-old who made a dreadful mistake against Coventry here recently, which cost Sheffield Wednesday a point. A nervy moment there for their number one.
Yeah, I like Beadle. I've seen him have a lot of good games here covering Sheffield Wednesday, but that was an awful piece of goalkeeping. He's very, very lucky that one of the red and white shirts wasn't following in there from that shot, because if they had been, they'd have got themselves a tap in on the rebound. Really sharp though, wasn't it, from Mayenda?
Bannon now, right wing position for Sheffield Wednesday. Good reverse ball down the inside right towards Patterson, but two in red and white coming across to help shepherd the ball behind. Good work between them from Hjelde and Bellingham. And out of play it goes for a goal kick to Sunderland, and Patterson in the short sleeves, despite the cold, will take it.
Yeah, short sleeve shirts on keepers. I don't know whether they sit right with me, but he's obviously a brave lad. It's not the coldest tonight. I think hopefully we're through the worst of this winter.
That's true. Here's Roberts on the halfway line, turning into Sheffield Wednesday territory, plays the ball square to Hume. Good touch infield to Neil in the centre circle. Sunderland finding their rhythm in the game now. 0-0, quarter of an hour played on Talksport 2. Mundle darts infield, finds Bellingham with his back to goal. Mundle was caught there, I think, by Charles. He ended up on the turf, quickly gets to his feet. Will Finney, by the way, is the referee tonight. Neil in a central area tries to play the ball down the middle. It's blocked off by Charles, who certainly is very industrious in the way he gets about the pitch. Hooked over his shoulder and thumped clear by Ingleson for Sheffield Wednesday. It'll bounce down at the midway point to the Sunderland half. Not a good back header by O'Nien, and he had to be helped out by Mepham, who cushions the touch back to Patterson.
Now that's what you have partners for. To act as cover, back up your mate, and that's exactly what Chris Mepham did there, because the back header from Luke O'Nien was dreadfully underhit, and Josh Windass, you do not want the ball to fall to him. He's a real live wire, of course, the man that so often makes things happen for Sheffield Wednesday, but luckily for O'Nien, Mepham was on his toes.
Good turn by Roberts infield away from Gassama, tried to thread the ball down to the edge of the penalty area, and Brown, it was swept away by Max Lowe for Sheffield Wednesday. That central defensive area is a problem for Wednesday. Dominic Iorfa only fit enough for the bench tonight. Deshaun Bernard out for the season, as we understand it. Sheffield Wednesday have now won it back with Charles with the orange boots on, almost in the right back position. Back to Beadle in the luminous green goalkeeping kit. At Sousay left back area, forward about 15 yards to Gassama, who turned away a little too easily from Trey Hume, bursts into Sunderland territory, lays it square to Charles, quickly forward to Bannon, back to Gassama in a central area, 30 yards out, wide to Valentine, low ball in, tucked over the top by Windass. Fantastic football from Sheffield Wednesday, just needed the finish, and surprising that their top scorer Josh Windass, only 8 or so yards out, couldn't supply it.
Well, that was fantasy football from Sheffield Wednesday, wasn't it? Absolutely sensational stuff. Beautiful. It's all about Gassama, isn't it? He starts inside his own half, but the 1 and 2 touch football was poetry in motion, and it deserved a finish from Josh Windass. Really, really frustrated that he put that over, because that would have been, I think that would have had to have been the best team goal of the season in the Championship this year. Quite remarkable football, wasn't it?
It was so elegant, wasn't it? From back to front, started by Gassama, and Windass should have hit the target by his standards, Clark.
He leant back, didn't he? Got excited, and it wasn't too difficult a chance. You know, he's about 10 yards out, the ball's squared to him. I would expect him to hit the target, a player of his quality.
Here is Mayenda, right corner of the penalty area for Sunderland, shrugged aside by Maxlow, who does well defensively and finds Charles, and maybe Sheffield Wednesday can build another attack. They're a very enterprising team to watch, Sheffield Wednesday, when they're on form. Charles has been fouled by Bellingham, and that's a free kick out on the right.
Yeah, well, this is what I saw last week at Burnley. They started in the first half, they were absolutely tremendous. Brilliant attacking football, pretty patterns, created good chances, but their finishing was poor. And I think if their finishing was a little bit sharper, Sheffield Wednesday, they might even be in the playoff positions ahead of tonight's game. So, you know, they're a very well coached team, no doubt. But both these teams are. I think Danny Ryle and Riedish Labris might just be Premier League managers in waiting.
Joe Bellingham strides over the halfway line for Sunderland. He looks left to Mundle, left corner of the penalty area, driving forward at pace to the edge of the box, and his cross is turned away by Hikwe. Danny Ryle got to his feet momentarily from his seated position in the dugout. He's watching something on the monitor that they've got. I wonder if he's watching replay after replay of that move, Adrian.
Yeah, look, he'll have enjoyed it. I mean, there was a big round of applause from him at the end of that move, even though he was frustrated at the miss. He could appreciate the quality of the football, and it was great to see Gassama and Bannon and linking with Valentine. It was gorgeous to watch.
Corner to Sunderland at the Kop end. It's 0-0 in the 20th minute. Drifted into the near post, poor by Mundle. Cleared away easily by the first man, Paul Valentine, and the ball actually took a bounce before the Spaniard was there to hack it away. It was that poorer delivery.
It's two rubbish deliveries from corners we've seen so far. And tonight is not the night, let me tell you, to be poor on the deliveries from corners, because Sheffield Wednesday are the worst team in the Championship.
From set plays.
Yeah, from set plays. They've conceded 17 goals from corners and wide free kicks, easily the most in the second tier. So, you know, Sunderland would be advised to get those deliveries improved, because Sheffield Wednesday aren't comfortable defending them. 12
games to go. Sunderland have surely got to win tonight if they're to make the top two. 8 points off second spot and 6 off Burnley in third. Sheffield Wednesday playing the ball down the middle towards Windass. Good work by O'Nien coming across from the centre defensive position, and then Neil had the awareness to skip away from Gassama twice and Patterson once. Very calm and composed from Dan Neil, and he finds Hume racing over halfway down the near side, the right for Sunderland, who have to go back infield to a central area. Roberts pings a lovely crossfield ball right to left to the far side, and Mundle, he's taking on Valentine in a one-on-one. 10 yards from the dead ball line, whips the cross in left-footed. Valentine is there again at the expense of another Sunderland corner. There's a really good intrigue and intensity about this game. Both teams are bringing the tempo to it, and you get the sense there will be goals, Clark.
I'm loving this game. It's a great watch. It's end-to-end. How many times already have we seen Sunderland switch the ball to Romain Mundle on that left-hand side? That was another great transition. This time it was Roberts, one winger to the other. And here they are with the corner kick again, Sunderland.
Plenty in the 6-yard box as Mundle whips in the corner, punched away by Beadle. Really had to stretch there. Unchallenged the goalkeeper right on his line, but it was fizzed in with real whip and bend by Mundle. And in the end, the touch is out for a corner.
I think he shot. Simple as that. I used to do the same sometimes. I'd shoot from a corner, try and aim for that far post, just to put some plenty of pace on it, and it almost caught out Beadle.
The next corner, Sunderland's fourth, is going to be taken on the opposite side. Left-footed and in swinging by Roberts to the back post. Good defending, stretching in with an acrobatic clearance from Paul Valentine. Otherwise, Chris Mepham was waiting at the back post to maybe get a shot in at goal for Sunderland, who've now got to throw 10 yards shy of the dead ball line. Sheffield Wednesday started the better, but Sunderland are really working themselves into the game now as we head towards the midway point of the first half. Sheffield Wednesday miles clear of the relegation zone, 6 points off the playoffs coming into tonight. As the ball is played back to Neil. Midway inside the Sheffield Wednesday half, and Sheffield Wednesday have everybody in the blue and white striped shirts behind the ball here. Sunderland with Roberts marauding towards the corner of the penalty area, skips away from 2 in blue and white, the number 10, lays it square to Neil. Sunderland going sideways, Elder with a deep cross all the way to the back post on the near side of the field. It's kept in play by Hume. He'll play a backwards ball to Brown, level with the edge of the penalty area. Brown now faced up by Gassama, and no way through beyond Ingleson for Roberts. And Sheffield Wednesday having to be sturdy defensively here. Bannon trying to catch out Mepham in the centre circlers. Sheffield Wednesday look to break. There's a great pace, and almost breathless pace to the game at the moment, as Mundle wins a free kick out on the left-hand side for Sunderland.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right to pick up on the pace of the game. We're high up in this stand. You know, this is a high vantage point. Often games can look slower. The higher that you are, it can look easy. I see why it looks quick.
Anything but.
It looks quick enough from up here. I mean, at pitch level, it must be absolutely rapid. There's no time for any of the players on the ball. I think both teams, both managers would be relatively pleased with the way their players have gone about their task. They've changed the lineups. What was there, 9 changes between them?
Yep.
And you can kind of see it. There's a real energy about the game.
Former Arsenal winger Adrian Clark with us tonight on Talksport 2. Aston Villa 0, Cardiff City 0 in the FA Cup 5th round, live on Talksport tonight. Now, the other championship clubs left in the FA Cup, Plymouth go to Manchester City tomorrow evening, live on Talksport. High ball down the Sunderland left, well headed away by the retreating Paul Valentin, who's done well up against the tenacious Mundles so far. Sheffield Wednesday go back to goalkeeper Beadle. Ihikwe playing it back to Beadle, who slices the clearance out of play left-footed. There is a slight nervousness about both goalkeepers tonight, both relatively young number ones, though both have played a lot of football. Anthony Patterson in particular, given their young age as goalkeepers. Yeah, no, it's true, but I think that they're in the team for a reason, because they're good keepers, you know, good shot stoppers. Beadle was on loan here last season from Brighton as well, and did amazingly well. And you know, they're only too happy to secure him for another year. This season has been more difficult for him. There's been more mistakes, but I still think he's an excellent prospect. But you are correct. On the ball, he looks a bit edgy, and I think Sunderland are an excellent pressing team, aren't they? So I think they might look to play on that. Really interesting, even game in the Championship so far. Talksport 2, the home of EFL. Forward high and long by Hickway, up to the midway point of the Sunderland half, headed away by Mepham, as Windass leapt in front of him and didn't read the bounce of the ball, so it was a simple header clear. Now the right back Hume hoists the ball high downfield. That's floated over the head of Brown, and then a bit of hesitation between Ihikwe and Ingleson. Nearly let Roberts in, but Ihikwe standing tall to regain possession, the former Rotherham United man, who's had a lot of promotions in his career, 4 promotions, 3 relegations. He knows the two sides of the game. Forward driving down the middle is Gassama for Sheffield Wednesday, wriggles away from Hume, touches it onto the right side, and Paul Valentin, dead ball line, crosses, and the flicks header onto the roof of the net from Cannon Patterson of Sheffield Wednesday. They put together a lovely couple of moves down their right hand side, the far side of the field, but again they can't quite test Anthony Patterson, and it stays 0-0. It's another perfect pattern of play from Sheffield Wednesday. It starts again with Barry Bannon, little flick to Gassama, and then that move that I talked about earlier where Patterson comes in off the right, frees up loads of space for the right back Valentin to maraud into. They feed him wide, and Patterson gets himself into the box, becomes that second striker. And I tell you what, his little flick header is nice, it's deft, and it needed saving. Well, I think we all but know that the top 4 in the Championship, Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday, Burnley and Sunderland in that order, are going to finish in the top 4. Those latter 2 playoff spots, currently occupied by West Brom and Blackburn, 5th and 6th, are very much up for grabs. Yeah, and look, based on what we're seeing here tonight, Wednesday are capable. You know, this is a good level of football that they're producing in the game. It's just defensively, can they keep enough clean sheets? I think that's maybe the issue. But I think between both boxes, Sheffield Wednesday are a terrific team. Only 4 sides have conceded more than Sheffield Wednesday in the league this season. Traherne for Sunderland with a right wing cross. Maxlow in the way. Sunderland get their 5th corner. And for all the praise we've given Sheffield Wednesday, it is still 0-0. And Sunderland are looking pretty threatening themselves. Yeah, look, they're playing well.
They're looking bright, aren't they? We haven't seen much of Joe Bellingham so far, but Patrick Roberts heavily involved, Mundle as well. The two wide players look sharp. Dan Neil has had an excellent opening to this game. He's a real classy operator, I think. Yeah, they've got some nice moves.
Roberts with the in-swinging corner, high towards the back post, hit on the volley and deflected behind. It'll be another corner to Sunderland, who are starting to really threaten from those set plays now. You get the sense that Sunderland are finding their attacking range, and now they've got corner number 6 coming up.
Yeah, turning the screw. I mean, it's a really, really good match, this. Yeah, that was a far post corner. Was it Hume?
It was Trey Hume.
Yeah, Trey Hume hit it on the volley. Trey Hume's, he makes things happen, doesn't he, from right back. It was a good effort.
Mundle into the near post again, not a good delivery this time. It bounced once and Paul Valentine was there, albeit under pressure to send it high up into the dark night sky and away from danger. We're right behind the two dugouts here, which are pretty much right next to each other. A steep drop to the touchline below, and there's lots of comings and goings in the Sheffield Wednesday dugout. Regis Lebris, the Sunderland boss, turns away and goes and sits back down. It's a fascinating watch on and off the pitch today.
Yeah. The technical areas are side by side, aren't they? So the managers can have a conversation if they fancy. They wouldn't have to raise their voices. But yeah, look, as I said earlier, I think two of the best coaches in the Championship, and that's reflected, I think, with what we've seen in this game. It's attack-minded, it's positive, but both teams really, really comfortable and fluent in possession. You can see that they've worked really hard on the training ground at what they want to do when they have it.
And two coaches who, dare I say it, would hardly have been known by the supporters of both clubs before they were appointed.
True, yeah, very true. So yeah, good, excellent pieces of recruitment. Both ownerships have had criticism in the past. Certainly the one here at Sheffield Wednesday. But what a smart piece of business it was recruiting Danny Royal and Sunderland. Well, they're under new ownership now, but it's not been smooth sailing. They've got it right with Regis Lebris.
Out on the right for Sheffield Wednesday, far side is Gassama, who switch wings with Patterson, plays the ball infield to Paul Valentine, shuffles it back out wide to Ingelsson this time, deep inside the Sunderland half, but this time he's shrugged aside by Hjelde, who pokes it clear, only as far as Gassama, again about 10-12 yards into Sunderland territory. Far side the right, early ball infield towards Bannon, Sheffield Wednesday's diminutive, elegant number 10. Now Max Lowe threads the ball wide left to the near side, and Hatsuse, couple of step overs, loops in a high left-footed cross. That's way overhead. Gassama can't keep it into the back stick. It'll be nudged away by Hjelde, but Sunderland can't retain possession. Sheffield Wednesday have it back, 0-0, and exactly half an hour played now on Talksport 2. Goalless in the FA Cup, live on Talksport between Aston Villa and Championship side Cardiff City. Out on the right for Sheffield Wednesday again. They've worked the ball to the right corner of the penalty area. Paul Valentine with a low cross into the near post. Mundle got a touch on it to send it spinning into the side netting, and it's a Sheffield Wednesday corner.
Yeah, he's having to work hard, isn't he, Mundle and Hjelde over at left back, because the movement has been good, and Paul Valentine in for Jan Valery, who's also a really good attacking right back. Yeah, Valentine is having a bit of a blinder over on that far side, getting a lot of joy.
Against a young man in Leo Hjelde, who, as you noted before the game, Clarkey, making his first league start of the season.
Yeah, it's a big ask for him. You know, he's played 16 minutes of the Championship season, 8 sub-appearances, 2 minutes per game. I mean, it's not really a preparation for tonight, is it?
Corner to Sheffield Wednesday. Charles, right-footed and out-swinging, looping to the back post. Patterson up there with the header, down towards goal. And Anthony Patterson, the Sunderland number 1, his namesake, was down to his right to make a relatively simple save. There wasn't a great deal of power behind the header of Callum Patterson.
No, it was an easy save, but it was a good header, wasn't it? Because it was an out-swinging corner, and he's had to climb high and generate all the power himself for Scott. And I thought it was a really, really good header. But he's moved to the left. Him and Gassama are switch. I don't know why, because I thought it was working really, really well before. But maybe we'll see constant rotation between the two wingers tonight.
Found a bit of goal-scoring form. Callum Patterson didn't score at all last season, but 5 in this campaign, and he scored relatively recently at West Bromwich Albion on the 8th of February. That one of 3 defeats in their last 4 for Sheffield Wednesday, which have quelled some of the playoff talk, but so far tonight, the signs have been promising, maybe for both teams. It is still 0-0 with over half an hour played now. Brown with his back to goal, midway inside the Sheffield Wednesday half, gets a return ball from the right back cube. Brown dispossessed on halfway by Max Lowe, bursting into the Sunderland half. A layoff back by Windass. Patterson wasn't expecting to receive it there. Sheffield Wednesday have had to hurriedly play the ball to the left back. Hatsuse. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 0 in the EFL Championship, live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get rewards points. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. 5 points between Sheffield Wednesday and the playoff positions as it stands. Sunderland would be 7 adrift of Sheffield United in second. It's that time of the season where both sides will only have 11 games to go. Draws are not really good enough at this stage. Here is Hatsuse on halfway. Square ball, poorly hit towards Callum Patterson, who trips Jobe Bellingham. That's a Sunderland free kick.
Yeah, I think it was a free kick, and the referee just bought himself a moment or two just to make up his mind. Yeah, on Callum Patterson, I worked on a game against Stoke where they beat Stoke here by 2-0 against with 10 men. And Patterson come off the bench that day and made a huge impact, scored a goal. He's not a flashy player, but he can make those impacts.
Oh, and Mayenda is through for Sunderland, and as he bundled it in, he has done! Mayenda back in the side. Once again, he scores against Sheffield Wednesday, and almost out of nothing, Sunderland chasing the top two, and they have the lead. It's a messy goal. Long high ball down the middle to Mayenda, who shrugged aside the defender, got something on the shot, and it ended up bobbling beyond Beadle, and Sunderland take the lead. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 1.
Well, it's a big call from Regis Lebris to leave out Isidore for Mayenda tonight, but he's repaid that faith. It's a ball over the top of the Sheffield Wednesday rearguard. The touch is excellent from Mayenda. The defending's flat-footed, but the touch is good, and then faced up with the goalkeeper, it's a scruffy finish, but he does enough to just bobble it over the keeper and into the back of the net. Sheffield Wednesday have played great, but they find themselves behind.
Well, the long ball downfield was misjudged, wasn't it? And Mayenda in behind, and having scored twice in the reverse fixture in August, he notches once again against Sheffield Wednesday, the 19-year-old. So that is 3 of his 5 goals this season have come against Sheffield Wednesday, and Sunderland, most importantly, Clarkey, lead 1-0.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why he's picked. He's got a couple against them last time. But yeah, look, it's a scruffy finish, but it's a striker's finish, isn't it? He just found a way to get the ball past the keeper. Was he offside? I think so. Don't have the benefit of replays here, but yeah, Sheffield Wednesday won't be happy with the defending.
Mundle left wing position, surging into the penalty area now, and Bellingham hits it, deflected over the top. It's a corner. The ball bounced into the path of Bellingham, and he lashed it right-footed, took a big deflection over the top. Sunderland very nearly scoring 2 in a minute.
Yeah, they've got to just stay calm here, Sheffield Wednesday. They're certainly on the ropes. Sunderland have been buoyed by that. And it was a decent effort. You know that Jobe Bellingham's got the talent to rip one into the top corner from outside the box. On that occasion, the strike's deflected for a corner, but we've had a lot of these corners, haven't we, in the first half?
Sunderland 7th at the Kop end. Lots of movement behind that goal now. Sheffield Wednesday fans heading for the concourse areas. Roberts takes the corner short. Shot at the near post from Brown. Lacked power. Max Lowe stretching to block it and divert it away. So 9 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half here on Talksport 2. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 1. I don't know if against the run of play would be quite a fair way to describe it, but maybe if you were going to look at the first half on chances, you'd have said Sheffield Wednesday might have edged it up to that point.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think it's a goal that seemed to come from nowhere because it's a hopeful ball forward that you expect Sheffield Wednesday to deal with, and they don't. They were caught square, led and footed, and Mayenda's sharp, and he showed it. Good touch, gets in behind, and then one-on-one with a keeper, he just does enough, doesn't he, to steer it into the back of the net. I mean, it dribbles over the line, doesn't it? But it doesn't matter how they go in as long as they do.
I did wonder whether the defender on the line might have been able to get to it, but the ball ended up in the back of the net well before Hatsuse could get there, and Sheffield Wednesday are behind. They haven't got a great record at home of late, but here's Gassama tearing down the inside left. Ingelsson on the overlap, and Gassama's ball has way too much pace on it, and the ironic cheers from the travelling Sunderland fans as the ball rolls harmlessly out of play for a goal kick. That was wasteful from Gassama.
Well, we've seen plenty of good things from Gassama in this first half, but he is a frustrating player. He is someone that can fluctuate in terms of their form, and that was the kind of pass that will drive a manager nuts, because it's an easy one and he just thumps it out of play when the left back is piling round on the overlap.
Well, Max Lowe has gone down here, so he's going to need to receive some treatment. Sheffield Wednesday have got both physios on, and lots of movement now all around the crowd at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday, prior to that opening goal, had the two best chances of the game, but they're 1-0 down. And just to give you a picture of the context again in the race for promotion, that would take Sunderland to within 3 points of Burnley in third, and to within 5 points of Sheffield United in second. Leeds are the runaway leaders on 75 points, it feels like now. Sunderland, yes, would have played a game more than the two sides directly above them, but just gives them a glimmer of hope. They've got Cardiff and Preston North End coming up at the Stadium of Light, two winnable home games, they would think. So if they win tonight, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. You've just got to be there. You've got to put yourself in the position where if Burnley and Sheffield United somehow fall off a cliff form-wise, you're there. You know, I just don't see it. I don't see it happening.
Burnley, they don't even concede, do they, as we were saying before the game.
I don't envisage it, but if you're Sunderland, you might as well get as close as you can, just in case. And as I said earlier, maintain momentum, keep your form going, because when those playoffs come around, you don't want to go into them having sort of switched off for 2 months, do you? I think it's really, really important that they stay switched on and in winning form.
Well, Max Lowe's still being treated here. He's sitting up just to the left edge of the centre circle, but there's a couple of Sheffield Wednesday players talking to him now, and he's got two physios either side of him. Sheffield Wednesday hoping that he'll be able to continue. I'm just looking down to the near side touchline. I can't see any sign of any substitutes ready to go, so hopefully they'll be able to get Max Lowe back on the field against Sheffield Wednesday. But of course the picture for them in the race for the playoffs would be that if they were to lose, they'd be 6 points adrift with a host of sides above them, and they'd have played a game more as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't be game over at all, but because there's going to be a lot of twists and turns. You know, teams in the Championship are going to win some, lose some, aren't they? You know, that's obvious. So what you've got to do is string a series of wins together. If any of the teams from 5th to 14th can string 3 or 4 wins together, they can get themselves right into the mix.
That's the beauty of the Championship, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's great. It's going to be tremendously exciting. A lot of clubs have lots to play for, and Sheffield Wednesday shouldn't be too downbeat either here tonight, because I think they've played ever so well.
And for Sheffield Wednesday, there is going to have to be a change. Liam Palmer is stripped and ready to go, one of Sheffield Wednesday's all-time leading appearance makers. Over 450 appearances for the club. I wonder, 33 years of age, he's got about 90 games to play to become their all-time appearance maker. That could well be possible if he stays fit for 2 or 3 more seasons, and they are going to have to take off Max Lowe, as if Sheffield Wednesday's injury issues defensively, which they've had throughout the season, could barely get any worse. Off goes Lowe, and at least Palmer is a reliable and experienced replacement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, you couldn't wish for a more sort of steady replacement for Lowe. Yeah, he'll be disappointed. So what's going to happen here in terms of the reshuffle? I think he'll go right centre half, will he, Palmer?
Well, he's another of those versatile players, isn't he? We talked about Callum Patterson, and Liam Palmer has done just that. You're spot on. Yeah,
so it just means he goes from right side centre back to left. Not a major issue there, I wouldn't imagine. So not too much disruption.
We'll have a lot of stoppage time at the end of the first half here. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 1. Eliza Mayenda's goal has Sunderland in front here with 3 minutes of normal time plus plenty of added time to come after that injury to Max Lowe. And now the game is stopped again. Alan Brown has landed awkwardly and he might need the physios on. That did look like a difficult landing for Brown, whether it's the shoulder or the back. He put his hand to his back initially, and Sunderland haven't got the physios on just yet. Brown thankfully is up to his feet and the game should restart. Sheffield Wednesday's next 3 fixtures, by the way: away at Plymouth Argyle, away at Norwich, and then the Steel City derby, which could be crucial for Sheffield United, of course, who sit second in the Championship, and for Wednesday's playoff hopes.
Oh, wouldn't they love it, Sheffield Wednesday, if they could beat the Blades and sort of scupper their top 2 dreams.
Sunderland will be hoping they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a big club here, Sheffield Wednesday, and they've had to watch Sheffield United have better times, haven't they? You know, get to the Premier League, and you know, it's not been perfect for United, but they've certainly had better times than Wednesday in recent years. So yeah, they would absolutely love to put a spanner in the works in that derby.
1-0 to Sunderland here, and that Sunderland goal and the injury to Max Lowe has taken some of the momentum out of the game and the rhythm away from it for Sheffield Wednesday. The atmosphere's quietened down as well as James Beadle hammers the ball clear downfield for Sheffield Wednesday, and it swings out of play, arcing from right to left to the base of the main stand, and right by a television camera, Trey Hume is going to take the throw for Sunderland. Not got a great record at home of late, Sheffield Wednesday. They have drawn 3 of their last 4, but no wins in that time. Sunderland had been unbeaten in 3 on the road before losing late at Leeds United in their last away match. Gassama on halfway for Sheffield Wednesday has looked lively, but Hume's won it back off him this time, and he races into the Sheffield Wednesday half. He's run 10-20 yards as he plays it back to the centre circle now, and Joe Bellingham. To his left is Hjelde, midway inside Sheffield Wednesday territory. Wednesday have got to be careful they don't concede a second here in the lead up to half-time. Mundle in field from the left, back to Bellingham again. Bellingham plays, he really does play with the poise and the elegance of his brother. The similarities in playing style are easy to see, aren't they?
Yeah, he's a spitting image, isn't he? And he's a really talented boy as well. You know, yeah, Jude's unbelievable, world class, but Joe Bellingham is going to play Premier League football, got no doubt about that. But he has been quiet tonight. That's what I would say. He's not made a massive impact compared to maybe some of the teammates around him.
That's Sousay with a half-touch high downfield to the halfway line. Not enough conviction behind it. Easy clearance away by Mepham. Now here is Bellingham, Sunderland's number 7. Jinks away from Barry Bannon. Almost looked as though he was a foot taller in the middle of midfield there. He shuffled it wide left to Mundle, who takes on Valentin again. Valentin again does well to get in front of Mundle and shepherd the ball behind in front of the Kop, which applauds. 1-0 to Sunderland here. Aston Villa 0, Cardiff City 0 in the FA Cup. 5th round live on Talksport as we go into 6 minutes of added time. Our FA Cup commentary is this weekend on the network. Crystal Palace against Millwall, Bournemouth against Wolves, and Manchester City against Plymouth tomorrow. Then on Sunday, Newcastle against Brighton and Manchester United against Fulham, which is live and exclusive to Talksport. And then on Monday night, Nottingham Forest against Ipswich, plus the return of the Champions League and the Europa League next week as well. So live football pretty much every day of the week.
It's all happening. Yeah, it's a busy time, but we're getting into that sort of business end, aren't we?
We are.
Not quite home straight territory, but we're getting around the corner, aren't we?
When March comes around, you know, Clarkey, having played Premier League football, exactly what it's like at this point in the season. The excitement for the players, and Sunderland here nearly a minute through 6 added and actually quite comwednesday in the game.
They look more secure now that they've taken that lead through Mayenda's goal. Sheffield Wednesday have sort of just been stung by it, haven't they? And confidence has been knocked a little bit. We're not seeing those patterns of play that we saw earlier on in the game, where they were really fizzing the ball around lovely. Some nice rotational play as well, with Gassama coming off the wing, Patterson too. It's become a bit more predictable from the house.
That's the voice of the former Arsenal winger Adrian Clark. Sheffield Wednesday's head coach Danny Röhl in his long dark coat to the edge of the technical area with his arms folded. The Arsene Wenger style long coat, it's almost reaching his ankles, as Sheffield Wednesday go back to Palmer, who's had to come on in this first half as a substitute for the injured Lowe. Back to Ihikwe. Sheffield Wednesday with the body language of a team that are now prepared just to get into the dressing room and try and work a way back into the game. They don't look like scoring in first half stoppage time here as Gassama is fouled deep inside his own half, and it's a free kick.
Yeah, I've liked a lot about Gassama's first half performance. He's been really, really tricky. He's been hard for Trey Hume to pick up.
2 minutes through 6 added. High ball down the middle towards Callum Patterson, but it's through to Anthony Patterson, the Sunderland goalkeeper. It was a high ball up to Eliza Maenda that led to the only goal of the game so far, completely out of nothing. Aston Villa 0, Cardiff 0 is a half-time score, by the way, in the FA Cup. The Championship strugglers in the 5th round holding firm. Here are Sunderland in possession with Mepham. Mepham from the midway point of his own half, forward ball to Alan Brown, tucks it square. Neil had to do a lot of work racing across to keep possession, and he did that as he so often does. The excellent Sunderland captain.
His quality, Dan Neil. Yeah, really like watching him play. It's a good midfield unit, isn't it? With Neil there, and then Brown and Bellingham either side in those box-to-box roles, and they're starting to take a bit of a grip of this game now. We're seeing them have more of the ball for sure. Certainly Bellingham, who was really quiet early on, now the ball is like a magnet to him.
Yeah, dominant in possession at the moment, Sunderland, and leading by a goal to 0. Halfway through the 6 added at the end of the first half. And on the left-hand side for Sunderland is Hjelde. Back to halfway and Neil. They don't need to force the issue here, Sunderland, and they maybe tried to there. 1-2 between Neil and Bellingham doesn't come off, and Liam Palmer trying to race into the Sunderland half of the field. There was an earlier foul on the referee, had long since blown his whistle. Foul on Callum Patterson, and a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday, who have maybe lost their way a little since going 1-0 down.
They need the break. They need Danny Röhl to get into them, to instill a bit more belief, because they started this game so sharply and they put Sunderland under a lot of pressure. And we saw 2 moves that belonged in the Premier League, didn't we, from Sheffield Wednesday? The pass and move football was glorious, and they were unlucky not to score from those situations. But you know, in football you get disappointments, you get setbacks that happen just like that, and that goal came from nowhere, and the response has been worrying. It's like the confidence is sort of just sapped, just drained away from them. There's no need to beat themselves up here. The Owls, they are very much still in this game.
Well, they do have a free kick on the halfway line. They're not exactly in any great urgency to take it. They do now. 90 seconds of added time at the end of the first half to go. Sheffield Wednesday 1-0 down to Sunderland, who are closing the gap on the top 2 as it stands to 5 points, though everybody else would have a game in hand ahead of Sunderland. As Hatsuse from the Sheffield Wednesday left whips in the cross, and it's headed away by Bellingham before it could reach Michael Ihikwe, who was forward from the back for Sheffield Wednesday. Bannon with the angled ball wide left to Hatsuse again. Just over a minute of added time to go in the first half. Trying to spin and turn inside the boxes. Paul Valentine lays it back to Ihikwe in the area. Patterson square. Poor ball, should have hit it. Tried to find Windass, and the Sheffield Wednesday fans vent their fury from the stands. They tried to score the perfect goal. Windass was crowded out and Sunderland clear.
Oh, I didn't like that, did they? The Hillsborough support. Good football again. Hatsuse fed a lovely ball, didn't he, into the box, and from there they played 2 or 3 extra passes. It comes to Patterson and you think, curl it, just curl it bottom corner, but he goes for a pass. It's like he's trying to walk the ball into the back of the net, and God, the entire crowd, I don't know how many is here tonight, but you know, way over 20,000 people all at once just screamed.
The collective groan of the crowd.
What are you doing? And he knew about that, didn't he, Patterson? He felt for him.
Well, they're up there in the average attendance rates, Sheffield Wednesday, once again this season. Big crowd in with the 4,000 away supporters as well. The away fans are happy. 1-0 Sunderland lead. We've nearly had the 6 added minutes. Ingleson crosses from the Sheffield Wednesday left. Mepham thumps it away on the volley, and the referee blows the half-time whistle. And in this battle of 2 promotion hopefuls, it's Sunderland chasing the top 2, who lead at half-time. Eliza Maenda with a goal out of nothing that he managed to fashion, wriggling away from Michael Ihikwe and just about squeezing the ball beyond James Beadle to give Sunderland this half-time lead. Before that, Sheffield Wednesday had arguably been the better side. They'd certainly gone close on 2 occasions, but Josh Windass and Callum Patterson, after fine moves, both couldn't hit the target And maybe the story of the first half for Sheffield Wednesday is that they haven't tested the Sunderland goalkeeper, Anthony Patterson, at all. Sunderland heading to within 5 points of the top two. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 1 at the break. And here's the former Arsenal winger, Adrian Clark.
I've enjoyed the game. It's been a really good watch. Really good watch. Sheffield Wednesday have by and large played well. Played some, lovely possession football, moved it through the thirds and caused, really good Sunderland team problems. And they were unlucky not to score. Wasteful, weren't they, in the moments that mattered. Sunderland, have also carried a threat. A lot of corners, a lot of pressure. And the wingers, particularly Mundell on the far side, has had a lot of the ball. But the goal is the difference, and the goal will really hurt Wednesday because it's poor defending. It's a hopeful ball over the top. Ihikwe should deal with it, he doesn't. And Mayenda spins in behind him. Good touch, scruffy finish. And that's the difference between the two sides. So a lot to play for in the second period, and I can't wait for it to start.
Sheffield Wednesday had arguably played the better football prior to that goal, but Sunderland seemed to have really settled into the game, Adrian, and Sheffield Wednesday have lost Max Lowe to injury as well. Yeah. So the way the game is in terms of the pace and the rhythm, Sunderland obviously will be the happier in terms of the scoreline, but Sheffield Wednesday have got to try and turn the momentum in their favour now. That's not easy.
It's not easy because they're playing one of the best teams in the league, and their record against the best teams in the league, as we said earlier, is wretched. Haven't scored against the top four side this season. They've lost every game. So going 1-0 down is going to make them think, is that us done? But from what I've seen as a neutral sat here at Hillsborough tonight, is that they're absolutely in this game. They can turn it around. They've got the players, they've got the football. But they're going to need a very impressive 45 minutes to do so, because this Sunderland team, they are quality, and I like what I've seen from them tonight as well.
Can I just get a quick word, Clarkie, from you as well on Romain Mundell, back in the starting lineup for Sunderland for the first time since November. At times in that first half, though, Paul Valentin did well to stand up to the challenge, but at times it didn't feel like he'd been away.
No, he hasn't created a chance. Hasn't given the ball away, which I think is a really interesting. No, he hasn't given the ball away once, which I think is impressive.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, look, he's tried a few dribbles. He's been lively without really producing end product, Romain Mundell, but the tactic is clear. He's going to stand on one touchline, Robert stands on the other, and Sunderland are going to switch the ball to the wingers as soon as they can and isolate them in 1v1 duels, and they've done that to good effect in this first half. To their credit, though, I think both fullbacks for the Owls coming into the team tonight, Valentin and Hatsusa, I think they've handled them okay.
Okay, much more from Adrian Clark, former Arsenal winger, to come. Half-time in our two commentary games tonight, live across the Talksport network. On Talksport in the fifth round of the FA Cup, Aston Villa 0, Cardiff City 0. And here on Talksport 2 in the Championship, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 1.
EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get reward points too. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
This Tuesday, Amazon brings the unmissable UEFA Champions League match. PSV versus Arsenal.
Magnificent. A wonderful goal.
This Tuesday, PSV versus Arsenal. It's on Prime.
Listeners, we interrupt the airwaves to share an incredible discovery. The reason why Britain hasn't been so great of late is because the country hasn't been eating enough Weetabix. We must get to work in rebuilding Great Britain, Bix by Bix. By delivering Weetabix to whoever plans the traffic diversions, to delivery drivers who can't seem to find your house, and people who don't stack the dishwasher properly. To Britain, we must say, have you had your Weetabix?
Did you know that with Ford, you can book a test drive for any of our new cars? Anytime, any place, anywhere. Literally. Anytime.
And projected sales and revenue are...
Any place. Anywhere. So simply go to Ford.co.uk, choose a car, and book a test drive in a matter of seconds today. Search Ford Book a Test Drive. Ford. Bring on tomorrow.
I've got the new Samsung Galaxy S25 and so many brownie points. You see, Now Brief with Galaxy AI learns my schedule to keep me ahead of my day. Weather, activity stats, and diary updates like Janie's birthday.
Oh, you remembered.
Thanks, Now Brief. Buy the new Samsung Galaxy S25 on O2 by 19th of March and save up to £480. Selected languages only. Account login and network connection required. Offer available on 30GB plus tariffs. £10 per month discount over 48 months. Terms apply.
EasyJet Holidays has up to £300 off package holidays. Plus, if you find the same holiday cheaper elsewhere, we'll beat the price. So, summer's not just on the way. It'll cost you less too. Search EasyJet Holidays. Get out there. Book by 11pm the 4th of 3rd 25. Minimum spend required. See price guarantee online. ATOL protected. T's and C's apply.
Sounds a little like someone hasn't had their free Greg's coffee. There it is. Get a free Greg's coffee every month when you buy insurance through Confused.com. Insurance is more rewarding when you've just used Confused. Just use Confused.com. T's and C's apply. See website for details.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the English Football League.
Keep those wagons rolling for live FA Cup 5th round football. Yeehaw! And not forgetting Nottingham Forest versus Ipswich on Monday night. Build up from 7 p.m., kick off at 7:30. Settle up for a magnificent 7 games of FA Cup football on Talksport Rodeo. Or should I say, radio. Yeehaw! Settle up this weekend for a magnificent 7 games of FA Cup football, kicking off like a randy mule from high noon this Saturday. Talksport's broke-back broadcasting bandwagon careers into town with root and tune total coverage of 7 massive cup ties across the weekend. Featuring Crystal Palace versus Millwall, Bournemouth versus Wolves, Man City versus Plymouth, and more. We're a-roping in and rounding up a magnificent 7 games of FA Cup football this weekend on Talksport Rodeo. Or should I say, radio. Yeehaw!
Feel the power and the glory. It's goal time.
And he scored. It's a brilliant goal.
Fired up and raring to go. EFL Live on Talksport 2.
12 games to go, and the race for promotion to the Premier League is about to reach fever pitch. 30 yards out, wide to Valentine, low ball in, swept over the top by Windass. Fantastic football from Sheffield Wednesday, just needed the finish.
Well, that was fantasy football from Sheffield Wednesday, wasn't it? Absolutely sensational stuff.
Oh, and Mayenda is through for Sunderland, and as he bundled it in, he has done! Mayenda back in the side. Once again, he scores against Sheffield Wednesday, and almost out of nothing, Sunderland chasing the top 2, and they have the lead.
He does enough to just bobble it over the keeper and into the back of the net. Sheffield Wednesday have played great, but they find themselves behind.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 1. Yes, Sunderland in front as it stands. The gap to the top 2 in the Championship will be reduced to 5 points. Sheffield Wednesday will remain 6 points adrift of the Championship playoff places. Half-time at Villa Park in the FA Cup, a surprise scoreline. Aston Villa 0, Cardiff of the Championship 0. Second half live over on Talksport. Just download our app and you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. Sports Bar Weekender follows both commentaries tonight. You can have your say on the evening's football by calling 03717 223344, and we'll have 6 more 5th round ties to bring you on the network this weekend. 3 of those tomorrow afternoon. We'll start at Selhurst Park as Palace welcome Millwall in a South London derby. Ahead of the game, Palace boss Oliver Glasner has been asked whether his side have the quality to win the cup this season.
We have to show it tomorrow, so I don't talk about winning the FA Cup when we were in the round of last 16 now, so we have to. We're facing a good Millwall side, yeah, with confidence, and they will try to take their chance. And so, it makes no sense talking about winning a trophy when you are in the round of last 16. It's just talking about the next game, and that's Millwall. And we prepared like we prepare every single opposition. And yeah, as I mentioned, they have a new manager since January and a clear structure in playing. Really liked what what I could see on the screen. And but I told the players today in our meeting, I said, we don't care which team is we have to play, which team we are facing, because we want to win the game, and especially we want to win it in our way. We want to play like Crystal Palace is playing.
So Oliver Glasner's Crystal Palace will take on Millwall tomorrow, 12:15 on Talksport. Here on Talksport 2, tomorrow at 3, we'll be on the South Coast as Bournemouth take on Wolves. Shortly you'll hear from the Wolves boss Vitor Pereira. But first, here's Bournemouth's manager Andoni Iraola, who doesn't believe the FA Cup will be a distraction as his side look to secure European football for next season.
No, we focus in the short term. We focus in the next game, next competition. For us is big. For the players, for me as a coach, for the staff, for the club, is a big chance we have here in front of us, and we will try to win the game, so we can play even a nicer game in some weeks. And with the league the same. Now we come from two losses, but we will. Even if you think our position has changed a lot and now we've lost, no, it's not. We have to keep going and prepare for the next game. It's Spurs away in this case, but focus on the short term. I don't think we should think in other things.
You know, in these moments, football change a lot. But you know, tomorrow we have chance. Is a chance for us. Is an opportunity for us to move forward. And we cannot think about to draw, because if you draw, you cannot move forward. We need to win. In my mind, in our mind, we must go there, just with this intention to win the game and to move forward. I cannot speak about dream because it's not a dreaming. It's something that it's like in our life. If you have a lot of dreams and you don't do nothing to achieve, it's only dreams. But if you are looking and you know that there is the target, and we must give this step to achieve this target, and this is the step is to win the game tomorrow. It's not nothing very, very, very. It's difficult, of course, but it's something.
Vitor Pereira there, and before that you heard from the Bournemouth boss Andoni Iraola. That is our live commentary at 3 o'clock tomorrow from the 5th round of the FA Cup here on Talksport 2. Ian Danter and the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves talk you through the action as Bournemouth take on Wolves. And then on Sunday, 2 more commentaries to bring you on the network. Brighton travel to Newcastle before we end the day at Old Trafford. Manchester United take on Fulham, and the Fulham boss Marco Silva believes his side do have the opportunity to do something special in the FA Cup.
We really like the competition, really. It's something that doesn't matter against two. We have been able to really be really serious looking for the competition. Of course, not respectful, but if you play against Watford the first and the second game against Wigan, our ambition was there. The players there were really serious in the approach, because we respect the competition, we love the competition, we aim really high in the competition too. Of course, if you play a game against Man United or other team, the noise is going to be different around the game. But it's the only difference, believe me, because our ambition in this competition is really big, and we want to compete really to be in the next round is what we want. Is nothing more about it. Okay, the players, they can speak between them, is normal, the ambition. They know that what is our ambition as a football club, what the respect and always how I want them to be serious in this competition too. And of course, it's good when I feel as a manager that this ambition and this passion for the FA Cup can go through all the squad.
Well, that's the Fulham boss, Marco Silva. His side go to Manchester United in the FA Cup on Sunday, live and exclusive on Talksport. Our next championship commentary tomorrow lunchtime on Talksport 2. The leaders Leeds take on playoff chasers West Brom. The two teams back out on the pitch here at Hillsborough. Sunderland lead by a goal to nil away at Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday in the blue and white striped shirts. Sunderland in the red and white. Plenty in the crowd still still returning to their seats, and it's Sunderland leading 1-0 who'll get the game back off and underway. From right to left towards the Leppings Lane end of the ground where the away fans are, and Sunderland kick us off again. Sheffield Wednesday playing from left to right towards the Kop, and the home team have work to do. No changes at half-time. Sheffield Wednesday have Beadle in goal, Valentin, Palmer, Ihikwe and Hatsuse at the back, Ingelsson, Bannon and Charles in the middle, Gassama out on the left, Windass starting out on the right in the second half, and Callum Patterson up front. For Sunderland, Anthony Patterson is their goalkeeper, Hume, Mepham, O'Nien on the ball now, the left-sided centre-half, and Hjelde are the defenders, Neal and Bellingham in the holding roles, Roberts out on the right, and Mundle out on the left, and Brown behind the goal-scorer, Mayenda up front. It's got much colder at Hillsborough since the start of the game. The floodlights are on, of course. Sunderland lead by a goal to nil, and alongside myself, Joe Shannon, is the former Arsenal winger Adrian Clark.
Yeah, looking forward to the second half. The first half was a good watch. Sunderland just popping the ball around for fun at the moment. Really controlled start to the second half, but that's a giveaway.
Straight to Josh Windass, who races down the middle and feeds Patterson with his back to goal. The layoff goes quite far back to Ingelsson, but he keeps the move going with a first-time angled ball down the right towards Paul Valentin. Good work by O'Nien coming across with the challenge at the expense of a corner to Sheffield Wednesday, who are 1-0 down.
Yeah, look, poor, wasn't it, from Chris Mepham, experienced player, very loose pass, and just gave Sheffield Wednesday the opportunity to come at them. As a consequence of that loose pass, they now have to defend a corner in front of the Kop.
Well, quite a few in that home end behind the goal with the pillars in the way are still getting back to their seats. They'll miss a goal if they're not careful. 2 minutes into the second half, Sheffield Wednesday look for an equaliser, but the corner is really poor by Shea Charles, headed away by the first man, Mundle. Bannon retrieves the loose ball. The Sheffield Wednesday captain, that's a much better reverse cross, high to the back post. Ingelsson trying to meet it after Patterson's flick. He couldn't get there. Sunderland turn it away, and now they counter maybe with Roberts, who plucked the ball out of the air just shy of halfway, then had it swept off his toes by Michael Ihikwe, and it's a Sunderland throw on the far side there, right?
Well, it's a great ball, wasn't it, from Barry Bannon towards the far post, and it needed defending, and Sunderland's rear guard stood firm, and then the breakaway was on. Didn't quite transpire in the end, but yeah, good start there for Sheffield Wednesday. Definitely a tactical change. Patterson's gone down the middle, and Windass has moved to this right-hand side.
And Sheffield Wednesday want it back down the left with Ingelsson. He's into the area. He chips it across. Patterson is there to head it in front of the Kop. Sheffield Wednesday are level. What a response from the home team. Less than 3 minutes into the second half. Sloppy Sunderland gave it away, and then Callum Patterson was there to beat his namesake Anthony to the ball. The Sunderland goalkeeper may be questionable again, but it's Sheffield Wednesday who are right back in the match, and maybe in the process furthering their playoff chances. Game on here. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sunderland 1.
Good response from the Owls. It's a gift, isn't it, from Sunderland? Really sloppy. They lose the ball, and Ingelsson pounces on a loose one. And doesn't he do well? He just dinks it into the box, and Patterson gets there way before the keeper. The keeper is anticipating a far post ball. His positioning is shocking, Anthony Patterson, and it is the easiest header from Callum Patterson at the near post. He's got an open goal. What on earth is the keeper doing?
Anthony Patterson was criticised for the way that Sunderland conceded twice late on at Leeds United. He scored an own goal last weekend against Hull City, and if he keeps making mistakes like this, maybe his place will come under pressure. They do have an experienced substitute goalkeeper, Sunderland, in Simon Moore. Sheffield Wednesday nearly threw their 3 against 2, but there was a foul by Gassama, who has switched his boots at half-time, and it'll be a free kick to Sunderland just inside the centre circle. Sunderland have got to wake up. It's 1-1 very early in the second half on the EFL Championship live on Talksport 2. Out on the left for Sunderland is Romain Mundle after Valentine's slip. Mundle's cross into the near post, took a deflection, gathered by the Sheffield Wednesday number 1, James Beadle. Well, we really have a great game in prospect now, Adrian.
Yeah,
Clark.
it's good for the game, isn't it? Yeah, and the atmosphere is recharged instantly. I felt like the Hillsborough fans had sort of not turned on their team, but they've been unduly affected by the Sunderland opener. But they're back alive now. I mean, it's really good from Ingelsson. You have to praise him. It's a lovely ball in. And Patterson's position is good. The header is a really cute one. But the goalkeeper just left him with an open goal. His positioning was dreadful.
So the scores are level. And Hillsborough is raucous again with noise. And they brought the crowd back into it, Sheffield Wednesday. I can tell you a lot of home fans missed that goal. They're packed around us in the south stand. We have a great vantage point right at the back of the main stand here. Lots of Sheffield Wednesday fans only just retaking their seats. 5.5 minutes into the second half. It's 1-1 on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get rewards points as Sunderland give it away again. Ingelsson, left edge of the area, shoots this time! Good save by Patterson this time. I tell you what, the goalkeeper might have redeemed himself there. He gets a pat on the head from 09 and one from Sheffield Wednesday's Josh Windass as well. It's a corner.
Oh, he's redeemed himself there. What a save. Great turnover again by Sheffield Wednesday. What are Sunderland doing? They're losing the ball in bad areas. They put the press on, the Owls, and Ingelsson steams onto the ball, hits it so fiercely with his left foot, looks top corner bound, brilliantly tipped over by Patterson.
Sunderland 7 points off the top 2. Sheffield Wednesday 5 off the top 6 as it stands. Corner from Ingelsson into the 6-yard box. Good header away. This time by Chris Mepham. And Sunderland trying to break over the halfway line with the pace of Mayenda. Sliding in was Hatsuse. Didn't get to the ball on the halfway line. That'll be a yellow card for the left back on his first start for Sheffield Wednesday.
He can't have any complaints. It's never a red. And there was a covering defender, but wasn't it good from Mayenda? You know, he's a real live wire. He's quick, willing runner. Only 19, of course. I think you have to put him down as a terrific prospect. And he made something happen there. Created a counter, drew the foul and the yellow card as well.
And Sheffield Wednesday have finally scored a goal against the Championship's top 4 this season, having had a dreadful record against the top 4 in previous matches. I think it's 6 games and they hadn't scored at all, Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, they were 16-0 down on aggregate against the top 4. So look, they've got one finally, and that will give them a lot of belief. You know, based on what I've seen, look, Sheffield Wednesday aren't a good defensive team. They need their personnel back. They need better centre-halves in the team, really. But I think between both boxes, they're a good team in possession, aren't they? And as we've seen at the start of the second half, when they put on the press, they're pretty effective as well.
Sunderland have not got started in the second half so far. 8 minutes into the second period and Sheffield Wednesday have quickly got themselves level. It's 1-1 and it's finally poised here on Talksport 2. Bannon comes across elegantly to win it back for Sheffield Wednesday. Unchallenged in the centre circle. He likes to spray the passes. He's played a short one square to his left and now over the halfway line it goes. Charles to the left-hand side and Gassama. Left wing position, early reverse ball to the edge of the box, well controlled by Windass, couldn't not make the defender coming across and Sunderland smuggled it away. Alan Brown, shy of the centre circle, right to left to the near side and Mundle takes up possession. He's had to slow the attack down because he's got nobody to aim at with an early ball into the box. The Sunderland fans behind the goal to our left are furious with the slow pace of the counter-attack and Sheffield Wednesday clear through Liam Palmer. Danny Earl applauds. He sent them out slightly early at the start of the second half, did the Sheffield Wednesday boss, and he will be delighted with their response.
Oh, absolutely. But I think the messaging would have been really positive at the break. They looked like a team that needed lifting, didn't they? And they shouldn't have been too down on themselves, but he's raised spirits and belief, and all of a sudden this game has a very different feel about it.
Callum Patterson sitting down on the turf. It's not a head injury, but he clearly is injured. Sunderland sportingly, Mepham has picked the ball up and he's actually stopped the game. And they'll wave the physio's on here. I can tell you who else is on the subs bench for Sheffield Wednesday. Charles, the goalkeeper, Chalobah, Iorfa, Jamal Lowe, Ugbo, Sissoko, Johnson and Kabatsky. And for Sunderland, Moore, the goalkeeper, Sirkin, Rigg, Isidore, Abdul Samed, Salt, Alexic, Ogunsoyi and Harrison Jones. And Sheffield Wednesday could have turned the game around completely. Let's not forget the save of Anthony Patterson to deny Ingleson, which maybe makes up for his mistake for the equaliser. But it's all Sheffield Wednesday at the moment. 1-1.
It is, yeah, but they might have to replace Patterson, which wouldn't be part of the plan. You've got Ugbo warming up down there, yet to score this season in the Championship, and you've got Jamal Lowe as well, who's a live wire. But you say Ugbo would be the more natural like-for-like switch for Patterson if he can't continue. I should also say that it appears that the opener from Sunderland might have hit the arm of Mayenda as he controlled the ball. Difficult for us to see from this vantage point, but apparently it rolled down his arm at one point. So they got away with that, maybe, the Black Cats, but they haven't got away with these loose passes at the start of the second half, and because of that, they find themselves level.
Still level in the fifth round of the FA Cup. Aston Villa 0, Cardiff City 0. An hour gone there, live on Talksport. Just download our app and you can swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2 whenever you need to. Crystal Palace against Millwall tomorrow lunchtime in the FA Cup on Talksport. Here on 2, Leeds against West Brom, which is followed here by Bournemouth against Wolves in the Cup at 5:45 in the fifth round on Talksport. Manchester City against Plymouth. And more FA Cup football on Sunday and Monday, and then European football back next week. So pretty much uninterrupted football for the next week or so, as Patterson is still being treated here. And is he going to have to come off, Clarkie? What's he reading?
He's going to have to. He got up and now he's sat back down. I think he might need the stretcher here. I mean,
what a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the stretcher is. I can see a stretcher down there, but no one's around it.
Well, the Wednesday coaching staff are frankly frantically calling for substitutes to come towards the near side. Patterson still sitting down, and as you say, the stretcher's right there, right by the halfway line. Maybe he won't need it, but Callum Patterson's races probably run, having started in a more central role in the second half, scored an almost instant equaliser for Sheffield Wednesday to make it 1-1. I suppose the question now is, after another long injury stoppage like in the first half, which way is the rhythm going to go in this game?
They don't want the stoppage in Sheffield Wednesday, no doubt about that. The momentum was with them before this pause in play. And of course they don't want to lose Patterson, who's had a good game, scored a lovely goal. His boot's off. He was walking off, was just holding the boot in his left hand.
Well, he gets a standing ovation from the Hillsborough crowd. 2 injuries tonight for Sheffield Wednesday, a great shame, but a great opportunity maybe for the man coming on. Ike Ugbo replaces the goal scorer Patterson, and you're right to say his only goal this season was in the League Cup in August. He hasn't scored in 30 appearances since. How tough is that for a front man?
I don't think it gets any tougher. Look, he offers plenty because he's physical, good in the air, works hard. He's got value, but the currency for strikers is goals, and he just hasn't scored any in the league this season. So yeah, maybe tonight's the night.
His name was being chanted by the cop away to the right. Play finally resumes. We are approaching the hour mark on Talksport 2. It's 1-1. Sunderland on the attack with Patrick Roberts. 25 yards out. Low ball to Bellingham, who tried to curl it from just inside the penalty area. Placed that into the top corner, but he couldn't direct it on target, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
That's a nonchalant effort, isn't it, from Bellingham? Lovely play from Patrick Roberts. The switch was on. He controls it beautifully, and what he does great, Patrick Roberts, is that he skips past defenders as he drives inside, and then he finds the pass on the angle for Bellingham, who gets himself into the box. But it's a kind of a lazy finish, side foot. He's trying to curl it far corner and didn't really threaten the goal, and it goes wide in the end.
After back-to-back defeats, Sunderland set to drop points maybe in the race for the top two once again. Sheffield Wednesday have it back on the halfway line, and they've got ideas of their own coming forward. Early ball towards Ugbo on the edge of the penalty area is headed away. It'll drop down towards Bannon, who couldn't get it under control. Ingelsson then sweeps it up high into the dark night sky towards this near side in the dugouts. Yelder looked to have hold of Paul Valentine, and appeals from Danny Röhl, who then applauds as the referee gives Sheffield Wednesday a free kick right in the middle of the Sunderland half and right in front of Regis Lebris, the Sunderland head coach.
Yeah, and they're going to drive this, aren't they, into the box. Shea Charles is going to go over it. Shea Charles has not been as dominant tonight as I've seen him in other matches I've covered for Sheffield Wednesday, but he's a good player in the heart of that engine room. So it's him or Gassama. They might play this short here. They've got a 2-on-1 if they fancy it.
We have now had an hour of play. A goal here for Sheffield Wednesday would take them up to 10th, and they have played it short. Gassama to Charles, back out wide to Gassama, right edge of the penalty area, level with the 6-yard line. He's taking on Mundle, plays it back to Charles, works the angle for the cross, high to the back post to Hickway, trying to get there, trying to get underneath it, nodded away from him by Luke O'Nien for Sunderland. It's come back out to the far side, the left again. Sheffield Wednesday, Ingelson's ball fizzed into the near post and well handled this time by Anthony Patterson. 1-1.
It's always as if Ingelsson has been given a message by his manager. Don't stand and stay still in the midfield. Get forward. Use that power. Use that athleticism and drive into the box. I think that's the big change. Feels to me as if Bannon's maybe sitting at it a little bit deeper, and Ingelsson has certainly been given licence to charge into the danger zone, and he's done it to great effect.
Danny Röhl is a very enigmatic manager, isn't he? Punching the air as Paul Valentine made a tackle there, but Sunderland have got it out on their right with Roberts. All left foot, the number 10. He's going to cut in field. He does away from Charles initially, and beyond Ingelsson as well. Up to the edge of the area, tried to poke the threaded pass through the middle to Mayenda. He was urged to shoot, and then he tried to charge down the clearance of the defender, Hatsuse. That was a scrappy passage of play after a great weaving run initially from Roberts, and it ends with a goal kick to Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, he's an exciting player, isn't he, Patrick Roberts? I do like watching him, because you never quite know what's going to happen. He is someone, if I was his manager, someone I'd keep on the pitch, because you always think he can do something. He can beat a player, he can find the right pass, the right shot. On that occasion, actually, he did. The first part was great, skip past his man, but then he's got to shoot, and he went for a pass instead, which was the wrong option.
0-0 in the FA Cup 5th round at Villa Park on Talksport. 1-1 the score here in the Championship. Sunderland cannot afford to drop points in the race for the top two. Sheffield Wednesday chasing the top 6. Palmer can't control the high diagonal ball out to the right from Charles. His run was good, but he couldn't take it in his stride, and it's a Sunderland throw in their left back area. We've now had over an hour and no sign of any changes for Sunderland, who have Rigg and Isidore among the subs tonight, of course. Bellingham has controlled the ball on his chest, not his arm, as the Sheffield Wednesday fans appeal. Mepham forward from his own penalty area to Hume, hoists it high and long, hopeful more than anything over the head of Alan Brown. Sheffield Wednesday win it back, and Charles barges his way over the halfway line. Quick ball to the left, well controlled by Gassama, back to Charles on the underlap. That's a brilliant run, and then the tackle coming in from Hume. It's a corner to Sheffield Wednesday, who continue to look the more likely to score the next goal.
It's been 18 minutes of this second half, and it's been a superb 18 minutes from the home team, showing real drive and power and determination. If anyone's going to get this third goal, this key third goal, it feels like it might be Wednesday.
And not one at home, Sheffield Wednesday, since New Year's Day in the Championship. Shea Charles, 2 arms up into the air, very crowded 6-yard box, terrible corner from Charles. He's frustrated with himself. That barely travelled 20 yards, headed away by Roberts, but Wednesday win it back. Gassama, middle of the Sunderland half, back to Bannon, everybody back here for Sunderland. The score is 1-1. Out on the left is Charles for Sheffield Wednesday. Now Hatsuse on the overlap, pulls it back. Windass knocks the header square, and it's cleared away by Neil. Maybe he should have let it run to his 2 colleagues in blue and white behind him.
Yeah, he should have. Did he get a shout? That's the question. It's not a good header. because Hasuse times the overlap to perfection. And I've got to say, the ball in is a good one. He drives it. It's a cutback, but it's driven at pace. And if Windass connects with a header, he wouldn't really need to do much. He needs to get it on target, but he fluffed his lines, really. It's like a header I would have produced back in the day. It's like
well, you were a winger. You were putting the crosses in.
Yeah, exactly. He shut his eyes, I think, at a key moment.
Adrian Clark played at Arsenal in the 1990s. Forward thundered down the middle by Beadle, the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper, too long for Ugbo, and all the way to Patterson in dark green. It's really well poised, isn't it, Clarkie, this for the neutrals. 20 minutes into the second half, it's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sunderland 1. Both teams need to win it. Could go either way.
Good game, really good game. I'm enjoying it. Excellent atmosphere. Two well-coached teams. And even though Sheffield Wednesday are in the ascendancy at the moment, it could easily swing back the other way, because it's not as if Sunderland have been poor. That said, I do think they've been sloppy in possession in the second half, and how much of that is down to them, and how much of it is down to the extra aggression that we're seeing from Danny Roll's side? I think it's a combination of the two.
Sheffield Wednesday have the ball with Hatsuse, middle of his own half. He's impressed a Japanese player on his first start for Sheffield Wednesday. Came off the bench in the defeat at Burnley. 4-0. They were beaten last week by an automatic promotion chaser, Sheffield Wednesday, although 4-0 was a bit harsh on them. You were there, Adrian, this time last week.
Yeah, it was harsh on them. They didn't defend well, but Burnley carved them open a fair few times, but as an attacking force, they were superb, and they could have scored 3 or 4 goals against, the meanest defence in Europe. Burnley, I mean,
yes, it is. It is. It really is.
Yeah. So they can. I said that night they should take encouragement from that, and it seems like they have, because barring the sort of 10-minute spell before half-time, they've been really good tonight.
Dominated possession and territory in large part in the 21 minutes we've had in the second half. So 1-1. Can Sheffield Wednesday capitalise? Bannon floats a high ball down the left. Gassama watches it drop over his shoulder, and then he tangles with Hume down by the dead ball line, and the ball goes behind. Very experienced Denver Hume. That's a goal kick to Sunderland, who aren't showing any great urgency in the game at the moment. Aston Villa have finally shown urgency. They lead Cardiff 1-0 in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Marco Asensio has scored. So the Premier League team heading through to the quarter-finals. We've already got to that point in the FA Cup.
Oh, it's wide open this year, though, isn't it? I mean, barring Manchester City, who must be red-hot favourites, it's great opportunity, I think, for other teams to get involved.
Hatsuse with a whip cross for Sheffield Wednesday, and it's over the head of Josh Windass. The ball will sweep out of play. Sunderland throwing the left-back area. Again, really, though, that came from hesitation in the Sunderland ranks defensively.
Yeah, look, they haven't looked themselves since they came out for the second half. Their minds haven't been sharp there. Bellingham gets caught on the ball. I mean, how many times have we been caught in possession second half? Too often.
Barry Bannon 30 yards out. They don't look like top 2 contenders, Sunderland. They're 7 points adrift of that at the moment, and that have played a game more than everybody else in the automatic promotion race. 1-1 at Sheffield Wednesday. Roberts down the right-hand side. Again, he's all left foot, squeezes the ball infield to the feet of Brown. Had his legs clipped by his opposite number, Ingleson. He's fuming with the referee, and totally understandably. And play allowed to continue because there was, I guess, an advantage there. Sunderland work it wide to Hume out on the right. Mayenda and Bellingham waiting in the middle for the cross. Roberts is dispossessed by Gassama in the left-back area. He's got great tenacity, Gassama, as well as being a good quality player. Held it up and played it back to Bannon, who pings it up to the halfway line. Paul Valentin into the Sunderland half. Down the middle towards the run of Ugbo. Clattering challenge by Mepham to win it back. 1-1 into the final quarter of this enthralling championship game already. Alan Brown, right of centre for Sunderland, nudges it wide right to Hume. Back to Brown down the inside right channel. 3 in the middle in red and white to Matt Hume delivers, and it's cleared away on the volley by Charles, who actually sometimes drops in almost like a third centre half when they've not got the ball.
Yeah, no, he's good at that. He's a tall central midfielder, isn't he? He's got a presence about him. He can absolutely do that. You can see the position he's in now. Pretty much left side centre back. Yeah, he's been a really good addition on loan, hasn't he, Shay Charles?
just had a little more of the ball, Sunderland, in the last couple of minutes or so. They have produced a pretty poor second half display up to this point. They've got just over 20 minutes to go, and there'll be a fair bit of added time at the end of the game. It's 1-1. Could well be a winner still to come. Mayenda with his back to goal, right corner of the penalty area, skins at Hickway, races into the box, he can pull it back, and the shot from Brown is well charged down by Ingelsson. That was an important sliding challenge. It's a corner to Sunderland.
He's had a good game, hasn't he, Ingelsson? With the ball, he's shown real drive, and that's excellent cover play. It really is, because Mayenda, as you say, skinned at Hickway, cuts it back for the onrushing Brown, but Ingelsson gets back and makes a vital challenge. Sunderland are going to make a change in a moment or two.
Desperate for a winning goal here, the Sunderland fans. Roberts with the in-swinging corner. Hume got the flick on at the near post. It's only half away by Sheffield Wednesday. The elder on the edge of the D has given it straight to Gassama. Sheffield Wednesday counter. Gassama is still inside his own half. He's turned away from two in red and white, and then he took one touch too many, and Sunderland crowd him out and win it back in the centre circle.
It's exciting to watch, though, Gassama. It's an excellent game. I mean, he's made mistakes, but he's done a lot of good stuff.
Now he's raiding down the near side to right. Windass ahead of him. Gassama cuts it square, well read and well intercepted by the Sunderland captain, Neil. Danny Rowell is hopping mad. He's nearly on the pitch, the Sheffield Wednesday head coach, screaming at his team to get back behind the ball. They've lost a little bit of control in the last few minutes, Sheffield Wednesday, and Sunderland may be starting to build.
Yeah, I think he's telling Gassama he wanted a reaction to giving the ball away. Go and win it back.
And Trey Hume crosses. Mayenda's header! Sunderland are in front again! It's Mayenda, who just loves the goal against Sheffield Wednesday. He races to celebrate with the Sunderland fans. It's a goal against the run of play. Great cross by Hume. Mayenda unmarked to the back post. Nodded it beyond the goalkeeper. His second, Sunderland's second. And how vital a goal for Sunderland in the race for the top two. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sunderland 2. The away team are back in front.
Top class. What a cross from Trey Hume. Beckham-esque. He whips that in right-footed at such pace. And then the header is textbook from Mayenda. He's all on his own, yes, but wow, that's brilliantly executed from the teenage marksman. They have not been at the races in this second half, Sunderland, but a moment of quality and they're back in front.
Just feels like the pendulum swung again, and maybe Sunderland do have hope.
Yeah, we said it, didn't we? We said it. We could easily see the match swinging the other way, even though Sheffield Wednesday are in the ascendancy, but that's all about individual quality. Hume, what a cross, what a ball, it's dreamy. And then Mayenda, the header, wow. I mean, this guy, he's come into the side and made his mark, hasn't he?
And Sunderland have made the change they were going to make. It's an intimidating change in the Championship, bringing Wilson Isidore on, a permanent Sunderland player now. 12 goals this season, 4 in his last 6, and he's replaced Alan Brown. Great noise from the thousands of travelling supporters. Sunderland lead 2-1 at Hillsborough. Totally against the run of play in the second half, but they will not care one bit. It does sum up Sheffield Wednesday to some extent this season. Sometimes that nearly men tag in the Championship, and at key moments, do they not defend as well as they should?
No, this is it. You said it earlier. 4th worst defensive record in the Championship. I think between both boxes they're terrific. I really do, but they give you goals, and that was slack marking. No one closed down Trey Hume for the cross, but too much time, hasn't he? And then in the area, who's picking him up? He's not the biggest, Eliza Mayenda, but did he punish them?
Oh, Sheffield Wednesday on the attack. Ingelsson chips it down the middle. Ugbo nearly got through, blocked off by Hume. Well, he set up a goal a few minutes ago, and he might have helped prevent one at the other end there in front of the cop for Ugbo. Sheffield Wednesday 2-1 down. They'll keep coming at Sunderland. Gassama's worked it left, far side. Hatsuse with the good cross, headed up into the air by Mepham. Not very far. It's dropped down to the left corner of the penalty area, but Gassama couldn't get it under control. Now he has got it back, but he's been beaten to it by Neil, who hammers it high up into the dark night sky and away. And they're jubilant, the Sunderland fans now.
Yeah, what a scene it is away to our left. Yeah, pretty much packed out the Leppings Lane end, haven't they? It's great turnout on a Friday night, and they're having fun. They wouldn't have liked what they've seen second half, but boy, did they love that goal. That was Premier League quality, wasn't it? That goal. The cross, the header. It's all about talent there for me. Trey Hume, I didn't mention it earlier, but no one on the pitch tonight has created more chances in open play this year than Trey Hume. He's a guy that makes things happen. It's been a real asset for the Black Cats this season.
So 2-1, Sunderland lead. And Sheffield Wednesday have got a lot of work to do all of a sudden. Mundell plays the ball back to Hielder in the left-back area. That goal has visibly lifted Sunderland. 15 minutes plus added time to go. Sunderland with Mayenda on a hat-trick. Darting down the middle, tried to find Isidore, when intercepted by Charles. He read the pass up the inside right. Oh, and then Roberts did a sort of backflip as he half-slipped and then flung himself in the air.
Yeah. Well, look, what he's doing here, Regis Lewis, he's having a look at Mayenda with Isidore, isn't he? Because he's given Mayenda the chance. He scored 2.
He's taken it.
But he wants Isidore in the team. Isidore's the main man up front. So, he's looking at it now. Can Mayenda play the rig role in behind the main striker? So, I'm sure he can.
Twice he scored in the reverse fixture, twice Mayenda has scored tonight. Sunderland in front, early ball in by Ingleson for Sheffield Wednesday, diverted away on the stretch by 09, looked like he might have overstretched there. Play continues, 09 is okay. Sheffield Wednesday have it back with Charles, and Hillsborough does feel a bit deflated in the home sections after that Sunderland goal. Feels harsh on Sheffield Wednesday as Ingleson loses his footing this time, ends up on his back, and it's a Sunderland throw in the right back position. It's a harsh lesson of Championship football, isn't it, for Sheffield Wednesday?
It is, yeah. But I'm just looking at some of the numbers, and they're not that amazing in terms of what they've produced in the second half, output wise. Just 2 shots, both on target, scored 1. I think that they've played better than that. They've been really good, Sheffield Wednesday. It's just been that one moment where they've switched off. And one good cross and a terrific header, and bang, they find themselves behind. That's the cruel reality when you play against top teams, and Sunderland are a top team. The table tells you that. This is what can happen.
And Sunderland closing the gap on the top 2 to 5 points. Of course, everybody's still got to play this weekend. We'll be with Leeds tomorrow against West Brom, live on Talksport 2 tomorrow lunchtime. Early ball pumped down the Sheffield Wednesday left, too long for Windass, gathered by Patterson, whose save at 1-1 looks important now from Ingleson. Aston Villa 2, Cardiff City 0, a second for Marco Asensio. So Villa heading into the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. Our cup coverage continues tomorrow from 12:15 over on Talksport for Crystal Palace against Millwall in a South London derby. Bournemouth against Wolves, Manchester City against Plymouth on the network tomorrow. Sunday, Newcastle against Brighton, Manchester United against Fulham is our exclusive commentary on Talksport, and Monday night, Forest against Ipswich. Gassama on the halfway line for Sheffield Wednesday. Can they summon up the fight for an equaliser for a second time here Wednesday? Hatsuse. Out on the left, the far side. Bannon nudges the ball towards the corner of the box. Ugbo lays it back to Barry Bannon, who picks up Gassama, corner of the penalty area, cuts it square to Windass in a very tight area. Sunderland with lots of players back behind the ball. Gassama out on the left, he slips at the vital moment again. Nobody can keep their footing now. Gassama has wrestled the Sunderland man to the ground. I think it's Hume, and that's an obvious free kick to Sunderland, who only have 12 minutes plus added time to see out.
Yeah, time is running out, isn't it, for Sheffield Wednesday? Maybe for Gassama too. I've liked so much of what he's done tonight, but the last 5 minutes, it's just made a string of errors, hasn't he? That he's held on to the ball, he's slipped over, he's given it away, and as a former winger myself, I know he's upset the manager.
Long ball down the middle for Sunderland to Isidore, and the flag does eventually go up, and Palmer was across anyway. They're going to bring on Jamal Lowe. Sheffield Wednesday, I think, very shortly, and maybe Sissoko. Is that the number 16? It is for Ibi Sissoko. Double change coming up.
Yeah, good player. Yeah, I think Gassama is almost certain to be one of those that made sway.
I can't help falling in love with you. It's the Sunderland anthem being sung with great gusto by the travelling fans to our left-hand side, and they celebrated the goal in style. Mayenda, he actually ended up in the front row of seats, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got booked for it.
Yes, but that's a good point. He did.
Yeah, but
well, it won't matter too much.
What a goal! I mean, it was a brilliant header.
Gassama for Sheffield Wednesday, maybe his last opportunity to make an impact on the game. Left corner of the area, jinking infield, slightly away from goal, about 35 yards out. Lays it square to Palmer, works it further wide to Paul Valentin. Now he scampers infield himself. Gassama back to goal, looking for the run on his inside left. Gassama jinks back out onto his left-hand side. Now Charles square, sideways to Hatsuse. He's being forced towards halfway. Charles then takes the touch and drives up the left. He's taking on Hume, who stands up to the challenge. Makes a good tackle. Sunderland on the break now. Mayenda racing forward over the halfway line with the pass. Valentin there to intercept it before he could reach Mundle. Is there one chance left in the last 10 minutes plus added time for Sheffield Wednesday? 2-1 down.
I think they've got a good chance of making that opportunity. But what I will say is that because they're going to have to put men forward, that they will leave themselves open to breakaways. And Sunderland are exceptional on the counter, and so is Isidore. 14 shots he's had from fast breaks this season. It's the most of anyone in the Championship. 4 goals as well, the most of anyone in the Championship from fast breaks. So the game's kind of set up for someone like him.
Forward by Bannon, high up the inside right. Ingelsson has raced onto it. Defender Hielder hesitated. He's by the corner flag. Ingelsson tees it up for Paul Valentin's first time right-footed cross, and Hume with the audacity to pluck it out of the air and then race beyond Hatsuse and turn this into a Sunderland counter-attack. Mayenda is over the halfway line. He's knocked it left to Mundle. Mundle's 10 yards from the edge of the penalty area. Can he work the opportunity for a shot? He's gone down right on the edge of the box, and the referee here has signalled for a free kick to Sunderland. It could hardly be any closer to being a penalty.
Oh, it must have been close. That must have been so close to being inside the danger zone. It was a great break again, wasn't it, from Sunderland? We were just talking about it, how good they are at it. And Mundo travels and travels and travels. No one can keep with him. And then he sort of has his heel clipped right on the line. So no pen.
It could hardly be any closer. We're actually looking at somebody else's monitor at the moment. We haven't got a monitor ourselves, so it's difficult to see. But that was about an inch away from being a penalty kick. Sheffield Wednesday want to make a double change, but first of all, Sunderland have got 3 or 4 standing over the free kick. I wonder whether is it best set up Adrian here on the left corner of the D, right on the edge of the box. Is it best here for Roberts with the left foot or Mundle with the right? Take your pick.
Yeah, here's one of those. You'd say because it's to the left of the D, a right footer might fancy this. You know, Mundle. So what they're doing, the goalkeeper's looking to protect the area to his right with the wall, and he wants to cover the area to his left. What can they do? It's difficult because it's 18 and a bit yards, and it's not easy to get it up and over a wall here. But they do have good technicians.
5 in the wall, 1 lying right behind it. Roberts, who's scored memorable goals for Sunderland at the Leppings Lane end of the ground in the past. Against Sheffield Wednesday, Sunderland lead 2-1. 7 minutes to go. Mundle curls it! Brilliant save! What a stop! Then the rebound driven and blocked by Hickway. That's a fantastic save by Beadle. Brilliant free kick from Mundle. Pummeled towards the top corner. What a save!
Yeah, he did ever so well, didn't he? He was protecting that area to his left, but it was not an easy stop because there was some weight behind the strike from Mundle. That was fierce. But he parried it away very, very nicely to Beadle.
Sheffield Wednesday clinging on in the game. Roberts with the left-footed in-swinging corner, headed away at the near post by Liam Palmer. Again, the delivery was not great. Not been great from dead balls all day, really. Headed down by Hielder, has only dropped in the right back position of Sheffield Wednesday. Charles is across, tangling with Chris Mepham, who stayed forward after that Sunderland corner. Sunderland fighting hard. They're going to make a double change shortly as well. We've got subs coming on and off all the time. Jamal Lowe, Ibrahim Sissoko and Marvin Johnson ready for Sheffield Wednesday. The first man going off is Windass. Should be a straight swap. On comes Jamal Lowe. Johnson, of course, a left-sided player. That's Sousé on a yellow card. He's walking towards the near side touchline, so his full debut is over. And then Sissoko, who we've seen in the Championship already this season, on loan from Toulouse at Plymouth. Now here he is at Sheffield Wednesday, and he replaces Ingelsson. Adrian.
Yeah, no, well, he gets the reprieve, doesn't he, Gassama? So fair play, and I think he deserves it because he looks like making things happen. But yeah, look, they've just got to go for it now. You know, bringing on more attacking players. Sissoko certainly more attack-minded than Ingelsson, and but we're going to see a couple of Sunderland subs as well. So this is going to be quite the stoppage.
It's almost like the first choice players are coming into the game. Sirkin onto the field for Mundle, actually, so it's an even more defensive outlook for Sunderland here, with Mundle applauding the travelling fans as he goes off. Sunderland leading 2-1 at Hillsborough, and is that Chris Rigg about to come on for Sunderland too?
Yeah,
Roberts going on.
Yeah, Roberts, good game from him. It's an excellent ovation. Yeah, on comes Chris Rigg. So yeah, good to see him again. Real talent. Another guy that's going to play Premier League football.
Yes, whether it's Sunderland or otherwise, Sunderland have gone to a back five. If they are to fight back, produce something special at the end of the season and secure automatic promotion, they'll have 11 games to go after this one. There'll be 5 points adrift and everybody else will have a game in hand. So they really need to hold on to the lead that they have tonight, even if they've been far from their best at times. Sheffield Wednesday look a little deflated at 2-1 down. Aston Villa 2, Cardiff 0 in the FA Cup on Talksport. Nearly 28,000 here at Hillsborough tonight, but 1 or 2 in the Sheffield Wednesday crowd are heading for the exits now. There's 4 minutes to go. There will be a lot of added time.
I think so, yeah. I think we're looking at probably six more at least. It feels like we've had a few stoppages. Obviously the Patson one took a while, didn't it, on its own?
Sunderland have won it back through Rigg, who's only 17 years of age still, would you believe it? He's wriggled back to halfway to find Luke O'Nien, and Sunderland, buoyed by the goal, actually since then have been very effective at keeping possession, and Sheffield Wednesday don't have long here.
They don't, no. Now, for long periods of this game, Sheffield Wednesday had a lot of the ball, but they're having less and less of it. Sunderland are managing the game pretty well, and I like the sub as well, to go for 5 at the back, just to add that little bit of security.
A little bit of impatience from the home supporters here. Sports Bar Weekender follows us over on Talksport if you want to have your say on tonight's football. 03717 223344 on Talksport tonight. Is it going to be defeat for Sheffield Wednesday? Big blow to their playoff aspirations. Sunderland moving to within 5 points of the top 2. Charles forward of the centre circle. Everybody back behind the ball in their own half for Sunderland here. Sheffield Wednesday have everybody in Sunderland territory bar the goalkeeper Beadle, who kept them in the game with that save from Mundle's free kick. Throw won by Marvin Johnson, who's just come on for Sheffield Wednesday. North side of the ground, far side to left. Back to Charles, and now Palmer in the centre circle. Maybe it is all building for one chance for Sheffield Wednesday, but Sunderland still look a threat on the break. Hickway, wide left to Johnson, 10-yard ball forward up the left touch line, and looking to wriggle away into a crossing position is JD Gassama, and he has won Sheffield Wednesday a free kick.
Yeah, it's a cheap one. It's a poor decision to dive in there, and they can just chuck this into the mixer. They've basically gone 4 up front, haven't they, Sheffield Wednesday? That's what's prompted the 5 at the back from Regis Lebris. Yeah, it's a blanket front 4, but they're joined for this free kick by the centre halves as well.
Pacing in and around his technical area, the Sunderland boss in his club tracksuit. Free kick, Sheffield Wednesday, whipped in by Charles into the near post. Again, not a good delivery, headed away by Bellingham. How many times have we said that from both sides tonight in terms of the set plays? Bannon is 12 yards from the edge of the penalty area. He's steered the ball to the left, and Gassama, left corner of the box, onto the right foot with a curling shot, and that is well handled by Patterson.
It is well handled because it's not a keeper in a confident frame of mind, and it was an awkward one, spinning through the air, but he really clasped that to his chest, didn't he? The Sunderland keeper, and he's taking his time over this goal kick as we tick into the last minute of the normal 90.
How many added, do you reckon? 5 or 6 maybe?
I think at least 6, gotta be.
We've had a couple of injury stoppages. The one for Patterson was a blow for Sheffield Wednesday, who haven't quite carried the same threat going forward. They've since conceded again, 2-1 to Sunderland. Here is an opportunity for Ogbo from a long way out to find Sissoko in the area. Comes back to the edge of the box. Big swing and a miss from Gassama. And now Sunderland try to break, and they win a free kick, fouled by the retreating Jamal Lowe.
Well, you say a swing and a miss, and it might have been, but I also think it's a tackle from Joe Bellingham right on the edge of his own box. He needed to make it, and he did. He got something on the ball. Really, really good defending from him.
Well, now Hielder's gone down for Sunderland, as well as Luco 9, and it is a free kick to Sunderland midway inside their own half of the field. 7 added minutes at the end of the game on Talksport 2. Is there still something in this for Sheffield Wednesday, or are Sunderland going to win the game they really need to win if they're to realistically stand any chance of putting pressure on the other teams chasing automatic promotion? Sheffield Wednesday have it with Bannon inside the centre circle.
Well, they'll believe they can get top 2 because they're not that far away. So for them in their own head, Sunderland, this could be a really big win.
Bellingham's lost possession. Jamal Lowe, 30 yards out, right of centre, urged to shoot. He steered the ball wide to Paul Valentine. Sheffield Wednesday attacking the Kop end in the second half. Valentine's low cross, not away! Gassama's shot is blocked. Well blocked by O'Nien with his chest. Here come Sheffield Wednesday again. Paul Valentine back to Palmer.
Great block, brilliant block.
Nearly a minute through 7 added. Sissoko, right corner of the box, couple of step overs onto the left foot. Bellingham stays with him. Gassama, edge of the area, teases it back to Johnson. Everybody's forward. They're queuing up for Sheffield Wednesday. Bannon with a low shot, pinball in the area, hacked away by Mepham. Suddenly a bit of desperation about the Sunderland defending. Their automatic promotion hopes could hang on the next 6 minutes.
Yeah, good resilience levels though from the Black Cats. They're digging in.
Again, Ivi Sissoko on the right, looking lively. Reverse ball left-footed, though, is not good. Easy take for Patterson on the edge of the 6-yard line, and the Sunderland goalkeeper goes to ground. He can waste away a few seconds, and Hielder goes down again.
Yeah, there's a bit of frustration among the Hillsborough support here. I think, yeah, look, it's good. Sirkin picks up his mate there, Hielder, who, played 16 minutes of Championship football before tonight.
Yeah, true.
No wonder he's cramping up. He's put in a real shift, but yeah, they've killed a bit of time, haven't they, after that catch from Patterson.
Aston Villa, the first side through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. They've beaten Championship Cardiff 2-0. We're 2 minutes through 7 added here at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sunderland 2. Marvin Johnson hits a high ball down the inside left for Sheffield Wednesday. It's thumped away by Luco 9 emphatically, deep into Sheffield Wednesday territory. Throw to Sheffield Wednesday in their left back area. The race for the playoffs will continue regardless of what happens tonight for Sheffield Wednesday, but the games are starting to run out for them.
Yeah, it's a big blow. Yeah, they can still do it, but yeah, it's a setback because this was a game they would have looked at and thought, actually, home to Sunderland side that's lost a couple on the bounce, made some changes. This could be our night to really make up some ground. But doesn't look like that's going to happen for them, despite playing well for most of this match. I think they can take heart from this performance, but maybe no points.
The ball is harmlessly out of play for a Sunderland throw. They're going to make their final change, and it's the man whose 2 goals looked to have won them the game, Eliza Mayenda, who takes the standing ovation from the travelling support. On comes another young player. Would you believe it? He's actually older than Mayenda. 20-year-old Harrison Jones, a product of the youth setup. It's a rare appearance for him. In fact, it's his league debut for Sunderland. He replaces Mayenda. 4 of Mayenda's 6 goals this season against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, can we play you every week? Yeah, that's the scream. But he's had a great game, Mayenda. He's grabbed his opportunity, and look, he's a versatile player. He can play wide, he can play up front, he can play at 10.
We are halfway through the 7 added minutes at the end of the game, and Sheffield Wednesday not showing any great threat at the moment. 2-1 down, and the stands are starting to empty in the home sections at Hillsborough. Sunderland have cleared the ball to the halfway line. We've had 94 minutes on the clock now. Only 3 to go. Be a big blow to Sheffield Wednesday in terms of their drive for the top 6, and Johnson's overhit the pass. Out of play for a goal kick. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sunderland 2 in the EFL Championship live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get rewards points. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. And some Sheffield Wednesday fans are huddled by one of the exits in the corner of the Kop. They're waiting just in case there's one last chance. But actually, Adrian Clark, it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Doesn't feel like it. No, look, sometimes you can chuck on a load of attackers and it can get worse. You know, I've seen it so many times. You sort of lose the shape and there's no real pattern to your attacks. And I feel that maybe is what's happened with Sheffield Wednesday. I don't blame the manager for doing it, but it hasn't really worked. I think Patterson's exit was the game changer. Patterson was playing ever so well and scored the goal. And since Ugbo come on, it's not Ugbo's fault, but they just haven't looked the same team.
Well, there's only 2 minutes for Sheffield Wednesday to salvage a point here. Lots more blue seats starting to appear around the ground. Bannon with a floated high ball down the middle, headed away unchallenged by Mepham, midway inside his own half. Now Sunderland can break. Over the halfway line goes Job Bellingham. He's got Jones to his left-hand side. Isidore to the right, and he's squared it to Rigg. Right corner of the penalty area. Steers it infield. Dan Neil, edge of the box, thought about a shot. Unlike him to lose possession, then Rigg slides in to send it all the way back to the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, but Sheffield Wednesday not getting the ball forward with any great urgency, even though even now Ihikwe is playing as a striker. It's long towards him, headed away by Mepham again. Sunderland still pretty comfortable at the moment. Sheffield Wednesday in the last chance saloon, and they've given it away. Rigg inside the centre circle for Sunderland. Double deflection on his pass. He's fouled Johnson. One more chance maybe for Sheffield Wednesday to get it forward.
Well, this is it, isn't it? Yeah, we're into the last minute. Danny Rowe jumping around inside his technical area, and they've lost it.
It hasn't happened in the 97th minute for Sheffield Wednesday. Sunderland have got it back, and they've got the ball exactly where they want it. Young Jones, the substitute, in the left wing position, near side of the field, deep in the Sheffield Wednesday half. 30 seconds to go, and if they play keep ball here, Sunderland will win the game.
Yeah, they have to. They've managed it well since taking the lead. They've not had a great second half, but since going 2-1 up, they've managed this match brilliantly, kept Sheffield Wednesday at bay, and they've looked to pick them off on the break, and they've done it pretty effectively.
Header forward by 09 into Sheffield Wednesday territory. There are 10 seconds to go as Jamal Lowe drives forward for Wednesday. Wrestled to the ground. He's actually fouled Neil. That typifies the Sunderland captain, and he's got Luke 09 piling on top of him, almost celebrating. That's the cue for loads of Sheffield Wednesday fans around us now to head out into the night, and Sunderland are there, I think.
Yeah, I think so, and you have to give them credit because they've found a way to win the game without being near their best. An absolutely picture book winner. 10 out of 10 cross, 10 out of 10 header.
Many felt before the game it was must win, and Sunderland have won it. They bounced back from 2 straight defeats to realistically keep alive their hopes of finishing in the Championship's top 2. Maybe for Sunderland, automatic promotion is still alive. They didn't play particularly well at Hillsborough tonight, but they have edged out Sheffield Wednesday by 2-1. A big blow for Wednesday in terms of their aspirations of reaching the playoff positions, despite playing well for long periods. Once again, Danny Röhl's team falls short against a team in the Championship's top 4. Sunderland have closed the gap to the top 2 to 5 points, even though they played a game more than everybody else. It just keeps the heat and the nerves on the likes of Burnley and Sheffield United. Mayenda's 2 goals enough to win it. Patterson's equaliser, sandwich in between. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sunderland 2. And here are the thoughts of Adrian Clark.
Yeah, really enjoyed the game. It was a good advert for the Championship. High standard stuff. Sheffield Wednesday should not be too downbeat. Yet could they have defended better for the goals? Absolutely. You know, they won't be pleased when they look back at the way they conceded the goals. But that aside, they played some really nice football. They created some chances and looked a half-decent outfit. But Sunderland, they just had that little bit of extra quality, and in Mayenda it was a special night. You know, he pounces on an error for the first, gets a bit of luck with the ball maybe hitting his arm. The referees don't see it, but the winning goal is something really, really exceptional. The ball in from Hugh, top notch, as was the header, and bang, you know, they put the pressure back on Burnley and Sheffield United and to a lesser degree Leeds. Sunderland are in the mix, don't write them off.
Well, they are celebrating it wildly away to the left-hand side in front of the Leppings Lane end of the ground on Sheffield Wednesday. Clarkey, is that going to make it really hard to reach the playoffs now? Does it typify the season for them?
It typifies the season. I think to get promoted, you know, they're nowhere near ready to be promoted, are they? Defensively, they're not strong enough. Got a lot of injuries, of course. But yeah, I think defensively, that's where they're going to come unstuck. I said before kick-off that I think they would fall short of the playoffs. I haven't changed my mind, but they are not a poor side. They're heading in the right direction under Danny Röhl. There's no doubt about that, Sheffield Wednesday, but I do think that the playoffs is probably a stretch too far for them in their journey.
Thanks, Adrian. Really enjoyed it tonight, as ever.
Pleasure.
Good to have you with me here on Talksport 2. Former Arsenal winger Adrian Clark, always terrific company as Mayenda, the match winner, celebrates for Sunderland, takes the acclaim of the crowd. Lots of live football to come this weekend. FA Cup commentaries tomorrow, Sunday and Monday on the network. Just download our free app to be across it all. Our next Championship commentary on Talksport 2 tomorrow lunchtime. The leaders Leeds take on playoff chasers West Brom. That's followed by Bournemouth against Wolves in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Coming up next here on Talksport 2, we've got live PGA Tour golf from the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches, but the Sports Bar Weekender is about to get underway tonight over on Talksport with Adam Cattrall and Carlton Cole. 2 games tonight, Villa 2, Cardiff 0 in the FA Cup on Talksport. Here on 2, Sunderland have won 2-1 at Sheffield Wednesday. Time to get your calls in, and the number to call 03717 223344.